Hop on in, sailors. The water's warm. Just sending out invites. God damn it, why does it always start with my first stream? Fuck are the panels? Oof, okay. 6 followers, no one in. Sorry, like always, I'm super fucking tired. I borrowed some non-copyright intro music. And that new feature, which is not like a super new feature, the see-through chat, I get it working, but then it crashes immediately. Oh, 4 viewers already? Okay. Let's get going. Okay. I just wanted to set the mood. Alrighty. Thank you for everyone that is here. Who is here? Can you hear me? Hello. Algian está aquí. Algian? Algo más? Well, what a day. What a day for our treasonous Russian asset president and his cabal of Nazis and Russian assets. I've picked out a slew of videos, a couple of shorts to get things off. I have just a wicked headache from everything. You got friends, invite them in. I'm open to chat suggestions and everything. God, people are fucking stupid. Sorry, just a friend of mine, like, we should cut. Why are we paying $40 million to the Taliban? Like, it's like, yeah, I guess maybe we shouldn't. I don't know whatever U.S. aid was doing. Maybe it was a soft power thing that benefited us in a way we don't know about. Thank you, Shart. I appreciate that. If you're not in the Discord, drop on in. I gotta rename my spouse pointed out to me that if you rename your channel, not the channel, your stream and your uploads, if you put the words politics today and gaming in there, instant numbers. And again, like, I love doing this. I do like doing this. Like, I don't know how Hassan does it for like 8 hours a day. It's like an endurance thing. And I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I could do. Like, if this ever, God willing, that'd be interesting if it became a career. I got ways I could do an 8-hour stream. Oh yeah. But right now it's like before and after work, 3 hours is like my max I can push out. And then I'm just like exhausted. And normally I'd watch all these videos, like I'd have them playing in the background on the way to and from work, or when I get home, I get them on the TV, and I'm like, I get a lot of like deranged and fun commentary that I think other people would benefit from. Not to mention, like, yeah, I fell down a left-wing rabbit hole. Absolutely. Like, my political journey, like, I was not a political person at fucking all 10 years ago. I didn't want to be. I still don't want to be. But, you know, what is it? Adversity breeds innovation. And I guess I had to innovate my way into politics. And like, it started out like Trump announcing he was running for president back in 2014, 2015. And I was already familiar with Trump. I've mentioned this in prior streams. Like, I had glanced at his career. I found the Apprentice just this fascinating experiment. And like, everyone tells me like, oh, you want to be a good businessman. This is a good businessman. And I was always like, but why? What's his good business? What's he do? Shard, if you're still in there, how's this sound? Is my volume good? Responsive? Good? Any echoes or anything? I'm going to keep ranting for a minute. So yeah, I was familiar with Trump, particularly the Trump University. That shit pissed me off before he ever got into politics. I fucking hate people that profit off of the education of people pursuing higher education as a means to better themselves. There's nothing I hate more than that. I think it's monstrous. I think anyone that does it should be immediately jailed. Like, it offends the living piss. Ooh, got in the stream. God damn it. Yeah, it's monstrous. Anyone that does it should be in jail, including Trump. But you know, thank you, Shart. I appreciate it. Dixon Gaming today. Sorry, today's news. There we go. Let's see if that gets fucking picked up. So yeah, I hated Trump from the get-go. Like, and I thought like I thought at that time, I was like, the American people know better. Like, they know he's not a serious candidate. He doesn't have a platform, any plan for Medicare, Medicaid, and he doesn't have plans for any of that. He's just doing this for like a lark. As we got closer and closer to the election, I was like, I was laughing a lot. I was like, yeah, he's pretty fucking close. Like, you guys know Hillary's like really unlikable, right? Like I was really starting to like acclimate myself to like understanding and learning more about politics. And I remember election night, I stayed up, my spouse went to sleep, and I was stunned watching the numbers roll in, and it's like tick, 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 and 273. No, Trump won with like 293. Or was it 315? He won with whatever the margin was that Biden beat him with in 2020. And I was shocked. I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this for the next 4 years. I remember telling my spouse, and she was like, great. And for the next 4 years, what I would do was log in. I would get on Google every morning, every night, a lot of the time during work. I would Google Trump to see what new and insane thing he would do or say. And I was there from Fire and Fury to beyond Proud Boys Stand Back and Stand By. I didn't want to be following any of that at all. I wanted to be going back to college and focusing on that. And like, instead I was just like, I really need to like build my family's financial base and try to like secure us. I can't gamble with like what an education might bring. And I hate myself for that, but it's what it is. Close out the end of 2020, going into Jan 6 and everything, 2021. I watch a lot of Internet Today. Ricky and Elliot from the old Machinima days. They used to do ETC. The men are geniuses. I love them. They're amazing. I was watching their channel, and YouTube picked up like them saying Hassan a couple times. Started showing me Hassan clips, and I started watching Hassan stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is the shit right here. This is what I want. This is me. I keep forgetting while I'm talking to Max out. And yeah, I fell down like the Hassan pipeline that led me into Majority Report with Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, Matt Leck, Matt Bender, Brandon. I can't remember Brandon's last name. I think there were 2 Brandons. But they're all great. I called into the show once and talked to Sam, and I sounded like a complete fucking idiot. It's hard talking to one of your heroes. It throws you off. Trust me. But yeah, I've been a big fan of them, and they've helped me. Like, as I delve further into this leftist pipeline, unlike like the right-wing pipeline, this is an arrogant thing to say, but this is my opinion on it, is that I didn't change my perspectives. I was constantly refining them, like, in what makes me me. I was understanding, like, what kind of person am I? Am I the kind of person that punches down, or am I the kind of person that punches up? Like, do I want to help my fellow man? Do I want to embrace greed? Like, questions that you don't ask yourself, even coming into adulthood. Like, it's questions that a lot of us don't really have the luxury of asking ourselves. So I was grateful that I was able to watch and listen and learn from them. Like, basic, simple things that can make you a better person, and obviously a great progressive. Let me see. So yeah, that's a summary of my journey into like the left-wing pipeline. And that's why I'm here on Kick. I'm trying to I'll never do Rumble because that is the Nazi platform. Twitch is overly saturated, and I don't want to do anything to help Bezos because he's a monster. And yes, I know Trainwrecks and the gambling cabal run Kick, but I mean, first off, I'm not big enough for anything right now. And second off, if I ever did get big, I wouldn't mind like taking money out of their pockets. They don't have a monopoly on everything like Bezos does. And also, like, I don't know of any left, like, if there's leftists streaming on here that I'm not aware of, like, let me know. Like, send me links. I'll check that stuff out. But right now, I'm streaming. I'm being consistent. I'm refining the channel. Like, every episode, I'm trying, like, new formats. Like, now I've got, like I said, the copyright-free music playing, like, as a lobby thing when I'm getting it all together, doing my sound testing, inviting people. I have the invisible chat software It's not working right. I need to finagle with that some more. I'm going to try to do that this weekend. But yeah, like I want to build a channel, build a community. We have a Discord now. Pat and Jeb, they're in there. They recommended it to me, and I'm like, yeah, no, they're right. This is a great idea. Like, I'm receptive. I'm very receptive to ideas, and I'm especially grateful and receptive for good ideas. Like, I move at my own pace. Okay, I'm not going to be cattle prodded by people into doing stuff. I'm not a dancing monkey, but I am very grateful for, again, those good ideas. Like, you're not unheard here. At least for right now, while there's only I get half a dozen people watching each stream. But it's going up. So, alrighty. One last check around. One last checkaroony, and we're going to get to town watching some videos. And when I pick the video, I'm going to finish sending a message to a friend of mine that's being really stupid. Really fucking stupid. About, we're sending $40 million to the Taliban. I've already bitched about it. And it's like, dude, the Republicans are about to kill $880 billion in Medicaid. Like, they're about to take 20% of Americans off healthcare. They're going to shut down, every rural hospital. And you're bitching to me about soft power money? Like, just tell me you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Like, God damn it. Sorry, okay. Let's watch some videos. We're going to start out with just some light shorts. And real quick, all the videos I watch when I re-upload these to YouTube, as long as I upload them to YouTube, all the links, all the titles are in there, so you can, if you follow me on the YouTube, you can watch the individual videos and explore the channels. I've got playlists set up, all sorts of stuff. Again, I'm expanding. I'm a one-man operation, but I'm doing what I can. So let's watch some shorts first. Oh wait, we're gonna watch. That's gonna be our main initial course. Oof, AOC, bad shot.
There's something here that as a communicator, I think she's excellent. Take a listen to this.
Members of Congress have to file financial disclosures. And you can see from my legal disclosures that I remain one of the lowest net worth members of Congress. I do not trade individual stock. I have no outside income. I live off of my congressional salary. And that's just what it is. I don't believe in members of Congress trading individual stock. I think it's wrong. And I don't do it. Even though technically you legally can, I choose not to because I think it's messed up.
She is not only correcting a falsehood, she is also saying you can independently confirm this. And she is also using it as an opportunity to connect her personal actions to what her values are. There's something here that as a communicator, I think she's excellent. Take a listen to this.
Members of Congress have to file financial disclosures. And you can see from my legal disclosures that I remain one of the lowest net worth members of Congress. I do not trade individual stock. I have no outside income. I live off of my congressional salary. And that's just what it is. I don't believe in members of Congress.
I'll let it loot. Writing really mean message to someone. They're really pissing me off. I am a hothead. I am very volatile. Please be patient while I go off on that. Thanos, if you're in the Discord, if you're in the stream already, thank you. No, I appreciate you checking that for me. Okay. Yeah, AOC's always getting a raw deal. Yeah, she's not worth $29 million. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Food stamps were never about feeding the hungry. It was 100% to subsidize farmers. Yeah, I will never understand Republican farmers who are like, I'm voting to end these handouts. First of all, your farm takes a gajillion subsidies. As this young man, Skylar, is finding out he's losing his $80,000 in subsidies from the government. But also, I used to work for WIC, and WIC really is an agricultural subsidy. It started that way, that's for sure. You ever wonder why moms on WIC get far more milk than any family can possibly consume? I know when we were on it, I was making yogurt and cheese out of it because it's just vast quantities of milk. Yeah, it's because it's really a subsidy for dairy farmers. You ever wonder why the main things you get on WIC are formula, cow's milk, cheese, cereals, wheat, corn, soybean, dairy farmers? Food stamps were never about feeding the hungry. It was 100% to subsidize farmers. Yeah, I will never understand Republican farmers who are like, I'm voting to end these handouts. First of all, your farm takes a gajillion subsidies, as this young man, Skylar, is finding out he's losing his $80,000 in subsidies from the government.
Sorry. I had to make sure it went through. So the way I pick these is I go for what like I'm interested in, and I've actually watched the videos that the last two shorts are about. This is Robert Reich, for those of you not in the know. He's been very vocal during the years of the Trump presidency, just being like, yeah, this is all bullshit. They're all just lying. And he's more valid than ever. Let's see what happened after he called Elon a robber baron. Elon Musk is a robber baron. Yeah, that's about right. People have been losing it over the lack of respect for Elon. And it's like, why would we respect him? Like, he is a piece of shit. Where's that K-head been anyway for the last couple of days? He's been quiet. So, 8% milk. Jesus. All good, man. Some people can't make it, and that's A-okay. Come in when you can, watch when you can. I will try to make it as entertaining as possible. And again, pop off if there's sound issues, which, by the way, the videos have been going good, right? The videos sound good? Nothing weird about the videos? Before I get started on... real quick, should I watch... I don't want to watch the video of Zelenskyy taking the bullshit from Vance and Trump again, but I will if it's wanted. Shark, do you want me to watch that? Also, is the sound for the audio so far on the videos good? Thank you, buddy. We're gonna watch this. I'm gonna start with this one, and then a lot of the stuff I picked out are kind of lengthy watches. I might thumb through what I've saved and what's out there for something more digestible. But let's get started with this and Fox News just being a bunch of bastards, bunch of treasonous bastards.
Jumping on to do another.
Oh, it's Luke Beasley. I didn't even realize this was Beasley.
Has been crazy with.
Thank you, buddy.
Response videos, but so many things going on.
Luke Beasley's a good channel. A good kid.
National, global embarrassment that took place today.
Yeah, it was shameful.
Went on Fox News after the exchange with Donald Trump, where Trump and Vance berated him and were being belligerent, and we've discussed it a bunch today. I won't relitigate all of that, but I want to go through these clips, and we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. As always, if you appreciate these updates, delivering this to you, please do click the subscribe button on YouTube. Here's ZELENSKYY with Brett Baer.
Do you think the public
Brett Baer's a piece of shit
in the Oval Office in front of the media served Ukrainians well today?
I think this kind of spat is I mean this we have. I mean, this is not
fucking
good
set
for
up.
both sides anyway, and I very open, but I can't, change our Ukrainian attitude to Russian, and I don't want they kill us for us. This is very, very clear that Americans are the best of our friends, Europeans are the best of our friends, and Putin with Russian, their enemies. And it doesn't mean that we don't want peace. We just want to recognize the reality.
Yes, are you kidding me, Brett Baer? Are you kidding me?
Why don't you surrender? Just do a little surrender.
Is that?
Come on, Zelenskyy, you're being mean. Do a little surrender.
Who was engaging
Just a
in
little
itty
bitty surrender.
Because we thoroughly watched that. And Zelenskyy was just very calmly
Donald
saying,
Trump, you forced Russia to invade. What are you talking about? They gave up all their nukes. Fuck.
A peace agreement won't immediately be violated because we want lasting peace. And so if we can get that, great. But just saying, let's take Putin's word for it, and he'll temporarily pause the invasion but take all the territory he currently has, then that's not really any different.
Lex
than the
Friedman
past
is such a
time
little
made such
bitch.
promises and they didn't end up being fulfilled by Putin. Again, I know a lot of this is repetitive, what we talked about all day. And Zelensky then, once he started getting shouted at by Trump and Vance, just really sat there quietly. There's no spat. There was no spat. It was a total attack that seemed a little bit pre-planned, an ambush.
It was absolutely there was a fucking Russian reporter in there.
What?
Like, this is pre-planned. Like, yeah.
For sure. Just before getting back to clips from this interview,
Fuck.
I thought that Adam Kinzinger, a former Republican congressman who doesn't know what,
He's been popping off. There are still many things I do not agree with him about, but he's oddly enough like the last like active like late 2000s Republican. Like this is the last pre-Tea Party, pre-MAGA psycho Republican, and he lost his House seat because like again, red states are they're just fucking insane.
has happened to his party. I thought it was interesting what he said here.
The man's a refugee.
This was really, I've never been embarrassed to be an American, and today it was embarrassing, and it was awful. I mean, let's keep.
This is one of the most shameful moments in our history.
An opportunity to flee Ukraine when Russia attacked, and he stayed. Is there anybody that has any doubt whether or not Donald Trump would flee the country if we were attacked?
The U.S., European leaders, whenever
Damn, he went for the throat there.
You can come stay in our country and govern sort of from afar.
If we got invaded by Canada, Trump would be hanging out in Russia.
Torturous murder by the Russians. And Zelensky said, I'm staying. I'm staying with my people. If my people are here, I'm here.
Yeah.
Would Trump do that?
It was a ballsy move.
You can answer that question in the comments. Then this.
During all these years, 10 years.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No.
Why would he?
I respect the president, and I respect American people. And if, I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy.
That's a leader.
Free media, but there are things where we have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians, and I think that is the most important thing.
Yeah, so he's saying, no, I mean, he's not really addressing the question, but he said no a little bit, but then went, but I respect Trump. But what? Again, I guess these are the questions that people think Brett Baer should ask, but what? Are you going to apologize? What would he apologize for? If anyone needs... Trump needs...
Sorry I got invaded. I won't do it next time. I won't... My country shouldn't have dressed that way. Like, what the fuck? Fucking Nazis. You fucking shitbird. Nazi fucking shit-ass media. Fuck.
He's constantly saying thank you, while his soldiers are the ones dying. Okay, we give some aid. Cool. I'm glad that we have. But it's Ukrainians actually doing the dying. Do they think, I guess they think in their new world order sort of mind, but do they think that it's in the U.S.'s interest for Russia, through murderous military invasions, expanding its territory, influence, and empire, and attaining of resources so that more people can live under less freedom and more people can live under less rights, and all in the interest of a stronger Russian regime? Do they think that's in the United States' interest? Because right now Ukraine's the one stopping that. So what does Zelensky have to apologize for?
They're taking like the biggest bullet for us.
To Donald Trump.
The Democratic senator said that Trump has become Putin's lapdog. Do you agree with that President Trump is too close to Vladimir Putin in your mind?
We spoke about it, and I think...
He's got to tread so fucking lightly here, because we all know he knows the answer. The answer is yes. Like, I picked out one of the videos we might watch. There's so much shit to cover. Fuck me. I wish I had started this channel 2 years ago. Fuck. I'm literally kicking myself. I wish I had been here 2 years ago. Like, actively, like, fighting against, like, the shit-ass bullshit of Aiden Ross and Sneeko and Trainwrecks, all this, and XQC and this right-wing bullshit. Because, like, there's so much back history. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, there's more theories now that are coming out that, like, yeah, Trump was likely a Russian asset. Like, it's becoming much more apparent. Again, and, like, to keep things in perspective, like, what he's doing now is 1,000,000 times worse than what he was impeached for the first 2 times. Like, he should be impeached and gone now. If Biden or Obama did a fraction of what Trump has done, they would be impeached, removed, and fucking lynched. I swear to God, within like 3 days. Within a day. And yet Trump is just like, what are you going to do about it? I got Elon. I got the Doge. Like, we're hacking and slashing, baby! Come at me! And I'm like, I want to come at you, you fucking dumb motherfucker. Like, you're hurting... He's just waging a war on Americans. An American interest. Like, all global soft power gone overnight. All nations know not to work in our interest. 1,000,000 Americans in the federal government to be losing their jobs. A tax plan meant to take 20% of Americans off Medicaid and cut the benefits for single moms and their children. They're just going to starve in the street and die. Like, impeachment. But instead, all these feckless, coward, dumb, shit-ass Republicans, Bill Cassidy, selling out all those children that are getting the measles to appoint RFK Jr., and he's like, it's really concerning that he's held off on doing the flu council that we do in the world. He really needs to reconsider that, like, and think about, like, the children that are going to be in danger because of it. You nominated him! You confirmed him! What the fuck? You're a doctor! You deserve to lose your fucking license, you shit ass! Fuck! And then Joni Ernst, I'm a survivor of sexual assault and former military. You confirmed Pete Hegseth, an alleged rapist, alcoholic Nazi. What are you doing? Like, there's no counting on the Republicans to save us. They are the captains of the Titanic. They will run this fucker into the iceberg, and when it's going down, they'll get on a lifeboat and fuck off to Russia or whatever. For the record, I hate corrupt Democrats too. Like, fuck Bob Menendez. I'm glad he's in jail, right? He deserves to be in jail. Eric Adams. Oh, another thing that Trump would be impeached for. Like, what are we doing? My point being that I got the tangent I went off on this. There's back history here. Zelensky knows Trump is in Russia's pocket. We as intelligent viewers know he can't say anything about it. Like, he can't, like, confirm that because it's just gonna make tensions worse. He did today the best possible political outcome, like, for getting ambushed and shellacked and attacked by the Russians. Like, didn't say anything mean, didn't blow up, tried to... Oh, Shart, seriously? Really? Is that true? Epstein's old cell? Are you serious? If he is, that's great. That's fucking hilarious. Fuck that guy. Fuck Bob Menendez. Fuck any piece of shit that sells out American interests to foreign governments. Eric Adams. Oh, and Donald Trump. Yeah. But, yeah. God. Where was I? What was I ranting? I was ranting. But yeah, Zelensky can't do anything about it. But what he did do today, again, what he did today was the best possible way of handling it. Didn't break down in front of, while his troops were watching, 1,000,000 strong in the field watching this interview. He didn't. Thank you, Shart. I'm not allowed to have favorites, but you're creeping up there. I like that. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, he handled the level of grace, strength, dignity that Zelensky has shown under this unprecedented, unmitigated, unwarranted, treasonous attack by the president was amazing. He made a tweet just saying, I thank you, America. I thank you for having me. Ukraine has stood strong because of you, all that stuff. And what did he do? He's doing this interview. I'm blanking. Let's keep watching because I'll get lost in the sauce real quick.
Today, very openly, President Trump, he said that I want to be in the middle. Otherwise, I will not put these guys at the table.
And is he right?
I want to be very honest, I want really him to be more at our side. I will explain why. Because it's not just that the war began somewhere between our countries. The war began when Russia brought this war to our country, and they're not right. And they
Exactly. It's very disturbing. This has to be explained by him. It really is. But then you have all the Republicans going out and going, Trump was so strong. We love him. He's so amazing. The orange Jesus. Yay. And not standing on principle. I don't think you can say Trump is the leader of the free world anymore. It doesn't mean America.
He's not. No, he's not at all.
Shouldn't and can't.
It frankly
stand for that.
Like, look, if we're going to declare a leader of the free world, it's probably Zelensky. he's fighting the war for freedom right now. Like Starmer and Franz or whatever. What's his name over in Germany? Macron. He's handling Trump well, but Macron is a piece of shit. Trudeau stepping down. Like, who the fuck else is there? Like, it's Zelensky. Like, he is the leader of the free world right now. He's the one that all nations are gathering behind, trying to defend and support. Like, yeah, fuck.
And hopefully that will recover. But Donald Trump, to be the leader of the free world, you have to stand as the leader of the free world.
And Trump stands for nothing.
And that's
he doesn't even stand for himself, for his kids, for his ex-wives, like for the people he screwed over. He stands for nothing.
President Trump
He is a reed in the wind.
can be salvaged.
it can be. Yes, of course, because it's relations more than two presidents. It's the historical relations, strong relations between our people. And that's why I always began with to thank your people, from our people. And this is the most important. And of course,
Diplomacy.
It's really interesting the way that he words that.
Like,
I just need to...
It's been talked about recently how, like, when the war started, like, Zelensky, like, barely spoke English, like, barely a word. And in between, like, waging a war with Russia, like, he's been learning English the entire way around to get better at it for these negotiations. And, like, his grammar's a little fucked. He's missing a few words. But, like, what he's saying is there. Like, he's saying what needs to be heard. Like, this is how we get to peace. Like, he's measured, diplomatic, strong, responsive, responsible. And I don't envy the Ukrainian people for much, but their president is absolutely one of them. And I have such envy and admiration for this once comedian. Like, he was an actor okay, for those of you who don't, like, God damn it, I wish I did this 2 years ago. For those of you who don't know, Volodymyr Zelenskyy was an actor. He was an actor. Now, the former Ukrainian president was a corrupt piece of shit that was ousted from power. Take fucking notes. He was ousted from power, and the people, like, they had, I don't know if it was snap elections, they had quick elections. And Zelensky was a relative unknown when he came in 2019. But that he was vastly popular, again, because of his history as an actor. What was his famous acting job, you ask? Oh, let me tell you. He acted as a comedian elected president of Ukraine. Like, it's a whole show. He went from doing the show to doing it in real life and being amazing at it. And what's fucking funny, he did Donald Trump's arc better than he did. Like, come on. Fuck. I've always been meaning to watch the show. I've seen clips of it here and there. It seems pretty fucking funny. It seems good. So yeah, big recommendation when you're all done watching Invincible and Severance. Check it out. I know I will. Let's keep going. Let's see what Luke has to say.
Keep emphasizing this because it is really difficult to, in such a high stakes scenario, thoughtfully articulate one's point. That's difficult. That's difficult for me every day on the show when I'm not on, one of the biggest platforms in the world. We're close. One of the biggest platforms in the world after one of the most consequential meetings in history. It's difficult for me just here to always feel like I'm nailing my delivery.
Like, this was a more impactful meeting than when Trump met with Kim Jong-un. Like, hands down.
He's having to speak not in his first language, and still that point, I think, is really profound.
That's a good one, Shart.
Which is...
Oh, let me fix the...
Of course our relationship can be
wait, I know
on
why.
Zelensky's end. He's fine.
There we go.
No matter how disgusting Trump's actions
I got to figure out how to bind some of this stuff.
Because it's about more than us as people. It's about the relationship between our countries. There's something bigger than just are my fifis hurt. But with Trump, he feels personally slighted. Boom. He'll change
like a bitch.
U.S. policy because
just like
he
a little
personally
bitch.
has a boo-boo.
Rub Vaseline on my hiney, Daddy Zelensky.
On Capitol Hill and the White House to make today about the minerals deal and the economic deal, and then get it signed and let negotiations play out over security guarantees step by step. Is that true?
I said that we have to sign this document, and we are ready for this. And this will be the first step to security guarantees. But it's not enough. I think so. Maybe I don't know something. I don't know some details. And that's why I wanted to share it with the president, my thoughts, and to hear him. Again, because he has a plan how to stop Putin, and maybe, as I said, maybe it's out of
this that thumbnail right
he
here.
Has to say that to make Trump feel
like
good.
that's.
I'm just
That's a historic image in the worst way.
I just like to know what it is.
But we have to share it. This is so sensitive. Just a ceasefire without security guarantees. This is so sensitive for our people. I'm speaking like a president of a people who are in this struggle 3 years, and they just want to hear that America on our side, and that
they don't want this war. They never wanted this war. Ukraine has been a victim of Russia ever since before the USSR even got started. But when the USSR kept going, Chernobyl, Russia has victimized the Ukrainian people over their entire existence. Crimea is just a delusional MAGA country for Russians. But the Ukrainian people just suffer the whims of a psychotic old dictator. They're all so fucking old and insane and evil. But what drives me nuts is the amount of wealth they have, the access to resources they have. They're getting healthcare far above their citizenry. So when they say life expectancy is 73, these guys get an extra 20 years by being able to go to the doctor, get cancer treated, get experimental treatments and anti-aging drugs and all sorts of bullshit so that they can live to be 100 to fuck up 7 generations of people in their country. Meanwhile, the good die young fighting the wars that they didn't want to fucking fight.
America will stay with us, not with Russians, with us. That's it. But I'm sure that it will be. This is the first step.
Yeah, so the mineral deal that they're talking about, the rare earth minerals and different natural resources, that the agreement was going to be signed today. It didn't end up because of Trump's meltdown. And it was going to essentially, the United States would be given economic benefits, not the deal that was originally proposed to the tune of $500 billion. It's actually right now undefined what the exact amount we would be allocating for this purpose from their resources, but a certain
shaking
amount
down
in
a
exchange-
victimized
in
nation.
exchange, we invest
Like,
in
we are the
their
bullies now. Like,
reconstruction,
what?
in the wake of peace. But understandably, when this comes up, Trump always, it's not Zelensky's fault for bringing it up, Trump always brings up the Russia-Ukraine part of it all, understandably. And so then Zelensky's saying very calmly, every time that comes up, yes, we want Putin to stop. You keep screaming peace at me, but I'm not the one preventing peace, it's Putin. And
Putin could end the war tonight.
for the concessions that
He'd be just like, yeah, I'll back off. But he's not going to, because he knows he'll look weak. And, like,
security guarantees.
you got to look at, like, the evolving situation of the Ukrainian war. Like, right now there are two battlegrounds that are being field tested with all new military equipment and experimental, like, tools and weaponry. Ukraine and Gaza. Gaza's getting a bunch of, like, AI smart bombs and tracking software. Lavender, tested out over there by the goddamn IDF and the Israelis. And they're both going to sell that and use that to expand Israel into Lebanon, Syria. Like, once Gaza is conquered, which will likely happen in the next 4 years unless Trump is stopped, when Gaza is conquered, they will expand. Like, the empires are expanding and consolidating their power. You're going to have the Russian Empire, the Chinese Empire. Israel's going to have their own empire, which will only be sustained by the Empire of America. But yeah, they're field testing all these weapons and stuff. Back to the nature of the war in Ukraine now. Like, it is vastly different from when it started 3 years ago. Like, sorry, 1 second. Nice. Yeah, it's vastly different. Like, soldiers on both sides are traumatized, but battle hardened, tested. They are a different breed from when they went in, for better and worse. On both sides, like 1 million strong on each, I think. It's hard to know what Russia's numbers are. Again, like, for those of you who don't remember 3 years ago, the Russians vastly miscalculated the invasion into Ukraine. And I'm going to throw out a theory that very few people talk about, but I'm pretty sure is exactly why this happened. When Joe Biden left Afghanistan, the American propped up government in Afghanistan fell within like a day, like 72 hours, something insane. The president had fled. He took $100 million with him. The Taliban immediately resumed power and government after just waiting out the U.S. for 20 years. And we're just right back to doing what they were doing. Because they learned all of their guerrilla tactics from us back in the 80s fighting the fucking Russians. But yeah, Putin was watching as we withdrew out of Afghanistan, and he saw how quickly a nation state, granted one that we had artificially propped up, could fall in the 21st century. Yeah, sorry, I'm very tired. So with that motivation, he's looking at Ukraine like, I just have to roll in there and take it. Like, I can do that. Like, I got my troops, we'll mobilize at the border, and we'll invade. We'll just do it. And they'll fall just like the Afghanis did. Like, they've got this weak new president. He's untested. Their military hasn't been in any real conflicts. Russia's touted as the second greatest military on the planet. That must be for a good reason. And so he invaded. And he was massively wrong. Because the Ukrainian people, Crimea aside, and they'll get that back someday. They mark my fucking words, they will. But Crimea aside, Ukraine has a strong national identity. Like, and a rich culture that I didn't know about before the Ukraine war. I didn't follow that. I didn't get it. But yeah, there's a lot of history there, a lot of desire to come together and defend their hometown. I mean, their homeland. Sorry, homeland. They unified. They unified behind Zelenskyy. They mobilized their military as quickly as they could, and with the backing of the U.S., while the initial invasion of Russian troops got to Kyiv, they were trying to kill Zelenskyy. Like, he was the target of bounties, assassination attempts, and direct attacks. Survived a multitude of them. His family went into hiding. I believe they were moved out of Ukraine while he stayed, which is, yeah, you don't want them to be there to be taken as hostages or murdered and destroy your morale. But he stayed, and the Russians were repelled. They were pushed back, all the way back to the borders eventually, because what Vlad didn't realize, because of how fucking corrupt and damaged his government is, all the equipment and all of his soldiers were so poorly maintained and tended to, out of date, like massive amounts of vehicles, ammunition, weapons, just out of service because they're not maintained properly, reviewed properly, and staffed properly. And his troops just not as well trained. And they don't want to be there. They don't want to be invading Ukraine. Like, there are generational ties between the two countries, families in some instances. They don't want to be there. They want to be at home, like drinking vodka and fighting bears. Like, they don't want to be invading Ukraine, but they're dragged out there to do it. So it's a demoralized army, and this is all within like the first year. Things started changing in the second year, like ramp ups, escalations, new guerrilla tactics, different attempts to invade different areas by Putin, attacks on nuclear facilities to destabilize and terrorize the local governments, all sorts of shit. And again, it ramped up. Now we're in year 3, and it is a war of attrition. Russia has stabilized. Again, their troops are more battle tested. They are more desensitized to the violence they're doing, and they're ready. They're practiced, and right now, like, again, it's a war of attrition. Like, Russia, they'll keep this up as long as Vladimir Putin's alive. When he finally kicks it, it's possible, but I'm hesitant to say for certain, it's possible that whoever, it might be Medvedev, that piece, he might keep going. It's hard to say who would take over after Putin like kicks it. But when he does finally kick it, there's a good chance for peace then, and it's just waiting out the war of attrition with the Russians, which is going to be very hard for the Ukrainians without military backing. Okay, after that fucking meeting, that shit-ass Marco Rubio that was sitting there twiddling his thumbs, not paying a fucking lick of attention, tweets out like, we are ending our building energy initiatives in Ukraine. Like, that was so disrespectful and uncalled for. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You traitors? You're just betraying this nation that needs our help, fighting our enemy. Like, we're in a Red Dawn scenario, but instead of like paratroopering in, like, we've got a president that supports our enemies, that is on his hands and knees, sucking up to our enemies. Like, what the fuck? And like, it's amazing how, as Americans, we know how to respond to a Red Dawn situation with paratrooping Russians so much easier than just an alleged spy at this point getting elected to political office, gaining power through social media manipulation, lying to the American people, and then ultimately just decimating everything that truly makes America great. You know what makes America fucking great? Federal workers! Fuck! Let's get back to the video. I'm losing my fucking mind.
Guarantees that through European or U.S. support or both, Ukraine will be guaranteed that there will be some restriction of Russia's ability to continue invading than this.
Do you want to continue?
And they will invade again. That's Russia.
Peace? And if he had the opportunity to go back to the White House right now, would you do it?
No. First of all, we want peace. That's why I'm in the United States. That's why I visited President Trump. And thanks for the invitation again. The deal on minerals is the first step to security guarantees.
He's busting his ass here to try and make this work. This is so painful. We're betraying them.
tough situation. To understand it is to be in Ukraine. You saw it, Brett. You was once. Thank you again. So I think that's very important to understand what's going on. But
he doesn't say thank you enough, except for like
when you said that, Shard, I started thinking of the Fully Cooley theme. But yeah, man, like,
question. Do you want
play them a concert.
Peace? Which they had more of, not completely, because there was still the conflict in eastern Ukraine, and then Russia was attempting different things. But they had more peace before Russia did this invasion. So they want peace, obviously. Lasting peace. Not peace for 3 days so that Putin can make sure that all the weapons are stocked. Lasting peace. The broken paradigm is baffling of so many of these folks. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Luke's got a good chance. Like, this is the goal right here, 1.18 million. Like, I follow Luke and Adam Mockler. Mockler is part of the Midas group. I don't know what Luke is a part of. I think it might just be him. It might just be him, which, you know, good for him. God, I've got 3 themes I want to, actually 4. We've got more politics, a little bit of finance stuff, streamer drama, and gaming. You know, I'll tell you what, Shard, since you seem to be the only active one, politics, gaming, streamer drama, or finance stuff. What do you want to watch? While you think about that, I'm going to try and see if there's any in my subscriptions. Ooh, we got regretful Trump voters. The Axis of Assholes, that's great. Ooh, pull that one up. Oh, this is a good watch right here. Adam Pacman talks about being threatened for litigation by some conservative psycho he can't legally name, but like apparently it happened. I believe not Adam, David Pacman. Why am I saying gaming? Okay. I leave the video so I know to hold on to them. I'm leaning towards this one. Let me check one other thing. I'm gonna save that one for the end. We're gonna capstone the stream with this. Probably around 10:30. All right, let's talk about AAA gaming and how AAA gaming are dying out because it's another offshoot of it's the capitalism problem, but it is uniquely flavored due to the nature of games themselves. The whole medium. This is Bellular News. He does very dry but very decent news, gaming news. He's in a similar vein to Yong Ya and Legacy Killer a little bit. But yeah, let's check it out.
Today's story is a serious one because Warner Brothers Games just killed multiple studios, and the one most people will recognize, of course, is Monolith.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Games, they fucked up so hard.
They made Fear, Condemned, and rather cruelly, they just celebrated their 30th anniversary. You probably also know the Nemesis system, which was what drove the Shadow of Mordor enemies. It was a fairly amazing system, and it was so good that WB patented it. And I'm sure they'd be happy enough to act as a bit of a patent troll against other people's game designs with it, but we know they actually loved it so much that they used it. They used the Nemesis system to ram Shadow of War full of game-killing monetization, which played a major factor in that game's performance, which, by the way, was really bad. Now, the project that would follow from Monolith, Wonder Woman, was also a disaster. It's now cancelled, but it's not a disaster in isolation because group-wide, the last decade itself has been a disaster. Today, we're going to discover why, and a little bit more dramatically, by going through all the sourcing surrounding this story, who is being blamed. Because there is a who. They're actually now a daily habit for me. You see, I was wasting so much time doom scrolling Twitter and Reddit.
I don't watch any ads. If I'm not getting funded by them, and even if I am, like,
in today's world,
it's a reluctant thing.
Data pathway.
God damn it! I thought I skipped it.
A big upgrade for just Details on the layoff. So Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and WB Games San Diego are all being shut down. Warner Brothers' statements basically insist that it is not a reflection of these teams or their talent, and I do somewhat agree.
That's so fucking aggravating. Like, okay. All the output that these people have put out from Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones, all the output, the only times, in my personal opinion, that there's anything like truly negative that makes them bad games is clear and obvious studio manipulation and the demands for microtransactions and like in-game purchases. No, we're not going to watch that. I already watched that. We're not going through that again. But yeah, like it's absolutely not their faults. And this is endemic of the gaming industry right now. Like, studios are falling everywhere. And I remember when I was growing up, like, video games were kicking off and really finding their niche. We were in like N64 and PlayStation 1 were they were on the way out. PlayStation 2 and GameCube kicked in, and suddenly people are like, wow, this is like a real market. Like, this is a big section of a store. Like there's careers in this. There's a future in this. Like, people can go out and learn how to make games, art design, game design, story design. Like, it's a wealth of jobs. Like, there's futures here. And like, I'd say gaming has always been volatile, even when it was hyped up and pushed as a career. It was always been volatile. But there was a period where, like, you could join a good studio and get a good career, make some decent pay, and do what you love. But it was a very small gap. And really, for like the last 12 years, it has been, behind the scenes, apparently, a horrific nightmare. Especially the stuff that happened with Blizzard behind the scenes. Under, like, listen, I know Bobby Kotick is just a CEO asshole that was hands-off enough, but hands-on enough to be a dick and not really be aware of, like, all the SA and stuff that was happening at Blizzard. But, like, that's a failing of a CEO, especially one that made, like, $2 billion working at Blizzard, being a fucking monster. What do you call it? And now, like, the state of gaming now, whole studios getting shut down overnight, all the time. If you made a successful game, you're shut down. You made an unsuccessful game, take a guess, shut down. And the WB thing is so fucking aggravating because it's willing studio manipulation. Like, they wanted a Suicide live service game. They wanted a bunch of Suicide Squad live service game, a bunch of live service stuff. They wanted it in Harry Potter. They wanted it in Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1 has the skeleton and, like, the basic musculature of a good game. But, like, if you look at it too hard, there's a lot of turds covering it. It's fucking aggravating. Harry Potter, they fought to not have monetization. Like, they, like, pulled out knives and got, like, stabby. Like, don't do it. We're not monetizing this. Ugh. DC, the Suicide Squad game was an abortion. It never should have happened. It was a massive mistake. Warner Bros. Killed them making a Batman Beyond Arkham game, which is allegedly back in development, and it's going to be Rocksteady's last chance to undo the wasted 9 years on Suicide Squad, making that abortion. It's their last chance to do it, and if it's not amazing, Rocksteady is dead. And they're going to have to pump that game out. We're halfway through the 9th gen of games. I can't remember which one the PlayStation 5 is. We're halfway through this cycle. They've got to get it out before the end of the 5. Like, they're not going to last to the 6th. And again, they've shut all these studios down. I think all they really have left is like NetherRealm, Rocksteady, and a couple other ones. Not many. Like Monolith, Player First Games, Warner Bros. Games, San Diego. That's so many jobs lost. And it's like, again, a career in gaming now. It's like, I'm not trying to brag. I really am not here, because what I make, everyone should make as a base minimum. But I make more money than a lot of these game developers. And it makes me really fucking upset, because I see some of the stuff they put out and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's passionate. It's intuitive, amazing, creative. This is the kind of thing we build our society for, so we can go into careers to do things that we love and get paid for them. And these people, like the people at Blizzard, like, were struggling to pay rent, struggling to pay for food, and getting sexually harassed and bullied by their bosses all the fucking time. Because corporate structures are anathema to the human condition. Like, yeah, it really upsets me. Like, I know a lot of good people that develop games and work hard on games and suffer for these beautiful creations, and they're treated like cattle, and I hate it.
Because what this really is a reflection of their end of February financial reporting. It's a pattern we see time and time again in the corporate world. Obviously, that hits games. Layoffs timed just before an earnings report that's often, well, a bad one.
Fuckers.
Is something that is designed to show that the company is proactively tackling its problems. And for Warner Brothers, those problems are significant. Analysts expect them to have bad earnings. They have had bad earnings for many, many, many years. We'll dive into the details, the leaks, the people quite a bit later, but let's just get back to those studios for now. So, WB Games San Diego were working on an unannounced live service AAA cross-platform game. Woohoo. We don't.
They keep trying to make a new Fortnite. There's only one Fortnite, and Fortnite killed PUBG. You're not even going to make a PUBG. Just stop.
I understand that was not a particularly fun production to be on. More about that later. Then there's Player First Games. They're the studio behind Multiverses. Quite rough for them because WB acquired that studio whenever Multiverses relaunched. Now that Multiverses is dead, so too are they. And that will sting extra hard for the developers and the players, actually, because the incoming Season 5 changes are widely seen to be excellent, with some people even thinking they could have turned the game around. Obviously now, we will never know. Let's move back to the explanations though. So, explaining all this, WB say it's a, quote, strategic change in direction, and that while they recognize Monolith's, quote, storied history of delivering epic fan experiences, their focus needs to be getting the games business back to profitability and growth, which, look, fair enough, those are actually important for a business. It's just, well, whose fault is all of this anyway? We'll soon find out. Now, what this actually means is distilled in the form of an email from the current head of WB Games, J.B. Perrette, and this was leaked to Polygon. It's kind of ghastly reading. Here's a really amazing quote. Getting our swagger back happens one high-quality game release at a time, and our financial credibility gets rebuilt one fiscal quarter at a time, delivering what we said we would deliver and no big negative surprises. You know, JB,
always about the money.
Say swagger. It does seem a little bit
infinite profit.
Three studios and say, hey, it's all part of our plan to get our swag back. That's kind of bad vibes. Now, that being said, there are lots of kernels of truth. It's no surprise that WB Games had, in fact, lost their swag. You just don't say it that way. What's key here is him saying no big negative surprises. And another thing he said, the product market fit and quality of too many of our new releases has really missed the mark. And it reminds me a piece of a piece of startup wisdom. Basically, right? Until you find product market fit, nothing else matters. No budget will save you. Product market fit is everything. On top of that, you build your empire.
But does it play like Fortnite?
To say the product market fit was not found in so many of their games. But the thing is, for large budget games, finding product market fit is bloody hard because it's a game.
Side note, you know what's fucking aggravating is like all these companies trying to make a Fortnite competitor and everything, including WB. And it's like, you guys want to do that, but like you lent out like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all your fucking characters to Fortnite. Like, do you want to compete or do you just want to make money? Because it's clear you just want to make money. Capitalism is not about competition. It's about making money. Okay, like it's fucking aggravating.
They they do look pretty janky when they're half finished. It's a real challenge the AAA industry is finding. Now, that Suicide Squad was a surprise miss to them is honestly completely baffling.
Ooh, Shart, hey, anyone here in the chat? There's an internet anarchist video about sex destiny. Anyone feeling up to that after this? Because I'm not gonna lie, I want to go down on that shit bad.
To me, but the point of product market fit is obviously a true one. And more importantly for today's story, this all makes sense when you know this piece of information. JB is the new head of WB Games. And what he's doing here is drawing a line in the sand and throwing the last decade under the bus. And that was a decade led by one man, David Haddad. David Haddad led WB Games from 2013 to 2025, and he's just the sort of dude who would end up running a division of Warner Brothers. I don't necessarily mean that in a mean personal way, but I think his history explains that. So David graduated from Harvard Business School in 1991. He worked at Disney, Mattel, and others until 2006. He then joined Sierra, which was him getting into the games industry. Not long after that, he was the COO of Guitar Hero for Activision. He had had some prior experience in the toy sector. The troublesome thing is he was COO of Guitar Hero from 2008 to 2011. If you grew up when I did, you would know that is when Guitar Hero completely fell off a cliff and basically went into irrelevance. Not long after that, then, he began at Warner Bros. So, in short, right, he's very much the Harvard Business School management consultancy type guy. He's actually done management consultancy work. And understanding that, how he's been trained, the situations that he will have navigated across all of these years, I think we get texture. And I say texture because it can be too convenient to just, in retrospect, connect a bunch of easy-to-connect dots and say that is the explanation for everything. But I do think that texture is relevant, and sources will certainly suggest that it is later on in today's video. So David ran WB Games until, in January 2025, Variety broke the story of his departure. And the framing at the time was that he chose to step away, though Bloomberg's reporting does have sources blaming David's leadership, well, personally. To quote the reporting, "A lack of strong, cohesive vision during Haddad's reign led to years of ineffectual trend chasing and wasted development time." So, is this a case of management consultancy types without deep game experience, simply having the wrong incentives, the wrong structure around them, the wrong mental tools for the job? To work that out, we can review his legacy. The good part of his legacy is the Hogwarts one, because Hogwarts Legacy is one of the best performing games basically ever. It managed to rank 14th in the best-selling games of 2024. That's the year after it released, so it was crushing games that came out this year. And it's got a definitive edition on the way that will help to keep those sales up. It's a huge win, and it's actually not alone in terms of wins. You've got TT Games with their Lego projects that often did pretty great. You've got NetherRealm's fighting games, which have done pretty solid too, but doesn't really make up for the losses. As an example, Suicide Squad underperformed. That led to WB taking a $200 million write-down. I'm sure continuing use for that game hasn't been great since, they just ended its live service. Then there's Multiverses and the Player First acquisition. That led to another $100 million write-down. And you've got some other projects like the Quidditch game that ended up just being a bit of a squib. And history truly is too funny here. Warner
God, did the
Brothers'
Quidditch game
attempt
launch?
to capitalize on their Christopher Nolan,
Because I played the piss out of
led to
the Quidditch game on GameCube when I was a kid.
Failed DC Extended Universe films. And it's just like that in video games. You have a banger trilogy of Batman titles, with the third one being a bit weaker, coming from Rocksteady, the Arkham games. And that led straight into a trend-chasing disaster, just that instead of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's
Batman Arkham City
games.
is one of the greatest video games of all time. I've played that game like 20 times.
Crack the whip and kill
stem
all
to
the
stern.
VFX artists, and you can get
New
a
game
ton
plus
of
everything.
slot movies. With
I love
video
that game.
games, though, especially the Suicide Squad one, well, that is years and years and years and years of development until you found out that you failed. That's why.
Yeah, and the Suicide Squad game,
dangerous. It's easy to.
It looked great,
David, and he certainly does carry a lot of blame.
This is a terrible game.
As
Like, it's
leader,
awful.
He has
Shouldn't have been made.
Got responsibility. And JB, the new leader, is very keen to draw a line in the sand. But there is just one problem for JB, and that's his own words. The trend chasing is David's responsibility as leader, but it was everywhere, even from JB, the guy who's trying to distance himself from the past. Here's a quote from JB from a while ago. Rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter, that is a live service where people can come in and live and work and build and play in that world on an ongoing basis? Yes, that is him saying that. And the basic point is that having Hogwarts Legacy, the only non-Rockstar game to displace Call of Duty as a year's top seller since 2009, was not enough. That's actually the thing here. Investors will always want more. They will always want...
It's never enough. It's capitalism. And it's like, there's no such thing as infinite growth. I would say not like this. I mean, God willing, cold fusion's a thing someday. That'd be pretty fucking amazing. But like, yeah, like, save for cold fusion, there's no such thing as infinite growth. It's not possible. It won't happen. What do you call it? It's why like these bubbles form. Like they're just coalescence of like systemic wealth. Like it all just goes into one place, and when it's not capable of bringing in any more, it shutters and it pops. And like, this is a gaming bubble, and the people that suffer from these bubble poppings are not the ones that, these are the people that are stuck existing in the system, the game developers, or in the case of the housing market, the fucking consumers. Like, they don't get to choose which system they're born into. They just come in and do their best in it. And any fucker that says, well, you shouldn't have gone to school for gaming, it's like, they was advertised to them to do it as young adults. They were told it was going to be a good career. And instead, they just get dicked down by billionaire and millionaire bosses. Bobby Kotick took like a $400 million bonus when he laid off like 3,000 employees that one year. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit.
Grand Theft Auto Online in a world where GTA
Fucking hate
Online
Bobby
exists
Kotick.
and you can put your money in Take-Two Interactive. So what better than GTA Online-like revenue from a Hogwarts game? Well, we can certainly say what's worse. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That's basically the point there. In trying to chase that, you end up killing the good thing that you did have. And there's another trade-off as well, even having something to ship in the first place. Rocksteady shipped 3 excellent genre-defining games between 2009 and 2015. Suicide Squad ate up the best part of a decade. No releases, no sales. That's got to sting. Its opportunity cost, right? Now, we're about to launch into the disastrous development of Wonder Woman in this video, but to feel just how bad all of this was, in the 9-year span where Warner Bros. Owned Monolith, but David Haddad was not in control, Monolith shipped 7 games. The whole Fear series, the whole Condemned series, experiments like Guardians of Middle-earth and Gotham City
Imposters was a cute little treat. It was a violent version of a Batman gang and a Joker gang trying to kill each other. And I popped in every now and then. It kind of has like Overwatch vibes. No, it was Team Fortressy. It was very Team Fortressy. Yeah, it was a very, like, I miss AA games like that. There's still some, but like, they're not the norm. And The Matrix Online was a game made with love. Same thing with Fear, Condemned 2. Like, all these are games that were made with like a lot of genuine care and love. And that's why Monolith going down sucks.
Imposters and the canonical oddity that was The Matrix Online. Rip Morpheus. And I'm not, that's where Morpheus dies. Anyway,
they bring him back. They brought him back.
They only shipped 2 games, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. But that doesn't look good because Mordor released in 2014, so Haddad can basically not really take credit for that. The disastrous live servicified follow-up, well, that was under his watch, as was Wonder Woman. Here's what we know about that. Jason Schreier's sources lay out a clear picture of wasted time, lack of vision, and shameful levels of indecision. According to staff, Monolith spent 4 years working on a project that was apparently a science fiction IP, only for that to be cancelled. The Wonder Woman project then followed that up, with Jason claiming that it had not hit full production by the time of its 2021 announcement. And that's a curious thing, because by then, Monolith is reported to have been in a rough state, with, quote, almost its entire leadership team gone by 2022. In fact, what happened is many of them left that studio and they founded Cliffhanger Games under Electronic Arts, where they're currently working on a Black Panther game. So having dealt with a rough launch, then years just pissed away, it's pretty obvious, I think, that the early announcement of this title was a ploy to hire staff, which is a fairly common practice in the industry. You announce a big, exciting project.
I wonder if there's a function to hide the mouse cursor.
Tool. So, Monolith were not doing great, and allegedly making all of this worse was their boss, David. So David is said to be a, quote, non-gamer in ways that made it difficult, right? The ways that made explaining product decisions difficult. He just did not have that sense of the market. And also, making things worse, staff would seemingly wait months on key decisions. And these are key decisions like, would we do E3? Or what will our next game be? And making any inherent weaknesses worse was the AT&T Discovery merger, right? With that looming over all the key people involved, leaders did not want to make decisions that could rock the boat, right? Or anything that could blow back and hurt the deal. And this whole mix of factors led to stupid stuff. One example, of course, is Monolith working on a sci-fi IP the WB didn't want for 4 years. It's also how WB Montreal were told to make a live service game, then managed to get the service bit dropped, leading to the rather odd game that was Gotham Knights. Now, the studio then pushed for a sequel to that game so they could basically iterate, capitalize on the experience they had to hopefully make something a lot better. But instead, leadership effectively turned them into a support studio. Now, Montreal's leaders did try to push back, and they sort of won, and then lost. The sad thing we've learned is they had a John Constantine pitch, so that died, but they did get a game greenlit, The Flash. Of course, the universe-wide "we are really tired of Ezra Miller" thing happened, and that, of course, led to no more The Flash game. Now, they were said to be assisting in Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is a project that was going nowhere fast. WB clearly did not believe they would see enough of a positive ROI from the Wonder Woman project soon enough for it to be worth bothering with, right? Like, if they thought this game would basically do well, they would have kept it going. But as it stands, even if they thought it would do well, but way too much in the future, well, that's not really going to support their goals of getting back to short-term profitability and increasing their margins. So that game was cancelled, Monolith was shut down, which perhaps shows the, I suppose, damage that Monolith had accrued over the years. It's like not in a state where it could be sold to another company, perhaps. WB Montreal have lost a support gig, and they are said to currently be pitching a Game of Thrones title. So, Montreal have survived the cut, they're very much not out of the woods yet. One thing we do know is that JB is keen to nurture his swagger, and if you cut through all the BS, it's pretty clear he's actually going to have the time to do that. Because to say that WB's lineup is sparse would actually be generous. So they've got a 3D Game of Thrones RPG, but that's done by Netmarble, that's a licensing thing. Then they've got the director's cut of Hogwarts Legacy, they've got mobile games, and likely a silver bullet, lots of IP, right? So you can license your DC things to Fortnite as an example. That
I just figured out how to use the
money and
stream settings here.
Anyway, not really.
Every day I grow more powerful!
Multiverses existed because they were worried about diluting the DC stuff. They wanted that to be multiverses. Now that multiverses is dead, hey, go, license everything. With all that, JB claims they'll be profitable in 2025, but it will take 2 to 3 years to actually rebuild. And rebuilding, funnily enough, is exactly what James Gunn is doing. He's the head of DC now, and he's doing that on the film side, but in interviews he has talked about meetings with the game teams and basically having more centralized leadership over, you know, what the hell do we do with our DC properties. But to me, it's how we answer a few questions that really lands this home. Does all of that sound better? Yes, it does. Was WB Games burning money? Yes, it was. Does a robust economy need bad businesses to fail? Yes, I can continue. I mean, if you are working in an economy in one of those bad businesses... Yeah,
but when you're making bad businesses, like, come on.
It's got no business existing. Is that good for your long-term career? Is that good for your mental health? No, it's not. But is the price paid by those who, by virtue of being leadership, are actually responsible? The answer is no. And here, while it does look like a better direction, all it took to get there was multiple studios, hundreds of jobs, and nearly a decade of wasted work. This happens at all scales. This is one example. Bobby Kotick, who, I mean, was
God damn it!
For a lot of very damaging decisions, he got off with a, over $300 million valued gold parachute. Well, if you want another story along those lines...
It was more than that, man. Like, fuck.
Dauntless. It's honestly...
$300 million. That's 150 American lifetimes. You want to know how much wealth is too much wealth? If whatever it is, you can divide it by 2 and it's more than 2, that's too much fucking wealth to be given to one person in one fucking transaction. God damn it. Even the people on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire did not get that much wealth. They didn't get half that much. Fuck. Let's watch. God damn it. We're going to watch some streamer drama and we're going to watch Sex Pestiny. This fucking piece of shit. Destiny used to not suck. Like 7-8 years ago, he outed JonTron as a racist, like an unabashed racist. And he did it eloquently. And now he's just like fucking his reply girls, sharing consensual sex materials non-consensually, and allegedly having sex with Nick Fuentes. Allegedly, like, that's not confirmed yet, but I mean, like, I'd put $5 on that bet. Sure, yeah, I don't give a shit.
I'm genuinely baffled at how this guy has an audience after all the shit he has said and done.
God, he's done so much bullshit.
And thrown in jail. This comment perfectly summarizes the way the internet feels about the political streamer Destiny. And judging from the way things are right now, it's only downhill from here. From laughing about doxing someone.
I literally just doxed that girl. The one that tried to throw egg on me like a week or two ago. Like, I don't give a fuck about like doxing.
To proudly claiming
fuck him
genocide.
I'm pro genocide. Like it sounds really shitty, but like I think that Israel should.
Dude, fuck you, Destiny, you piece of shit.
Now, and basically, Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like that's about where I'm at.
And even defending PDF files.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming.
Destiny has managed to get away with doing and saying a lot of horrible stuff over the years. His most recent scandal involves him secretly recording his partners in bed and then sharing those videos with strangers without consent.
I forgot. Like, okay, I only caught up on this recently. I didn't realize, like, the recordings themselves were not consensual. Jesus, fuck.
Have finally caught up with him. This controversy has sparked enough backlash to sink his online reputation for good, and there's nothing he can do to avoid his fate this time. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist.
Yeah, he fucked up. He really fucked up.
Documentaries, and today we're diving into the.
And also, again, a right-wing pivot. Like, fuck.
His long history of alleged
yeah, that's not annoying as shit.
To the scandal that finally made even his most loyal fans turn against him. And if things keep unfolding,
Destiny, Ethan Klein, Joe Rogan.
His career, but
it's like people are having enough. Like, fuck these guys. Show some fucking standards. Try. Why can't you fucking... Ooh, that's an unflattering photo. Okay, I'll say one thing. He got to the name Destiny before anyone else did. Like, that's smart branding. But fuck him.
As a carpet cleaner. He began streaming StarCraft 2 on now-defunct streaming sites like Livestream.com, Ustream.tv, and Justin TV, which later became Twitch.
Cam, we got this. Force field, do it. Cut the army in half.
That same year,
I wish I had gotten in on that streaming.
StarCraft 2 and started
Again,
professionally.
Hey guys,
I chose a real career instead of this,
Pro League once
and
again.
I regret a lot.
Root Destiny, thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations on IPL Season 2 qualification.
His success in esports gave him the exposure to transition.
God, even
to
I would bully that guy. Like, fucking hell.
For the next 5 years. However, starting in 2016, Destiny began shifting his
What's with the
focus away from
cornrows?
gaming and more towards politics.
Who do you think won the vice presidential debate?
Depends on how you define winning.
Well, how do you define winning? What do you care about in these debates?
I care about people that are adhering to the truth.
Surprisingly, his political content quickly became far more popular than his gaming content ever was.
He had some good takes early on.
Nearly 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube and over 800,000 followers on streaming platforms. But for many of his early fans, his switch to political content signaled a turn for the worse. And unfortunately, their fears turned out to be completely justified. As time went on, Destiny started having more and more unhinged takes on sensitive topics, like defending the distribution of CP based on his extremely flawed logic.
Men that are given access to child pornography have a higher chance of not actually committing pedophilic actions in real life, and I would argue that that would be a moral good, that if you can prevent people from acting on those urges, that's something that should be explored.
This quickly turned him into one of the most controversial streamers on the internet.
God damn it, man.
However, these outlandish statements also allowed him to build a cult.
That's an I need therapy statement. Jesus Christ.
Defend him no matter what he did. As a comment on Reddit puts it, Destiny is the only guy who can literally get away with whatever he wants because his fans brigade internet spaces until the narrative is so diluted that people forget what a piece of shit hack fraud he is. With a fanbase willing to defend him at all costs, Destiny had no incentive to hold back, leading to a long list of controversies that only grew worse over time. Unfortunately, there's no practical way to cover every single horrible thing he's said or done over the course of his career. There's simply too much to go over. That said, most of his unhinged behavior falls into a few clear categories. The first of which is him being a massive creep. Like in 2015, when an adult star posted a tweet about getting essayed by a co-star. The tweet will have to be censored due to how graphic it is. However, after coming across this, a normal person would either...
God, Stoya and James Dean, Jesus Christ.
Destiny, however, took a much darker route, choosing to insult her and other survivors of Grape with vile comments, Like, Jesus, why not file an effing police report instead of tweeting this? You're effing disgusting. What an effing idiot. When someone called him out.
See, interactions like this completely lacking in empathy or even tact. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've never said anything like this, but I've definitely been one to just say horrendous shit online, particularly to TERFs. I've gone after a couple of those. There's some fucked up stories there. Fuck TERFs. I have no remorse for what I said to those people. Fuck them. But this shit, like, it's like, dude, like, she's talking about SA, like, that happened to her. Like, it's a first-person experience. Like, it's not something you would say to someone sitting across you at a table. And it's just, like, it's another sign of, like, the moral and social desensitization that the internet has affected on the American people. Well, in the world at large. Like, this is why, like, certain apps need to go. Facebook gotta go. I'm not a fan of Instagram. But it has some merit compared to Facebook at this point. Twitter's got to go. Obviously, it's just a Nazi factory. Because it farms actions like this. And it's like, you're just being a dick, dude. Like, you're not adding to this. Like, you're fucking disgusting. What a fucking idiot. Like, she was sexually assaulted. If you don't believe her or anything, just keep it to yourself. Like, until, like, her talking about how she was abused is not gonna hurt you ever unless you're an abuser. Like, why are you mouthing off like this?
For his unhinged comment saying, "At Stephen Bunnell, why don't you write us a long list of everything you feel a survivor of rape should do? Then I'll use it to wipe my ass." Destiny doubled down and made things worse. He responded with, "Survivor of grape? It's grape, not murder, not beheading, not a fatal car crash. Everyone survives grape. Get over yourself." From here, things only got
It's such
worse.
shitty. That's awful.
Hello. Want to talk about how hard it is to go on every day? Where Destiny would respond with, "Blank yourself so you don't have to live with the pain." But his disgusting...
I forgot about all this. I thought this was someone else because, again, he's going by Stephen Bunnell. Fuck him. Dumbass piece of shit.
She posted an argument stating, "At Stephen Bunnell, ignoring a safe word and not stopping when someone asks is ignoring consent and is great. Go F yourself." And instead of presenting a counter-argument, Destiny completely flew off the handle, wishing violence on her in a horrific response. "Yourself, you effing I hope you get raped with a effing shovel until you bleed out your effing and die wholly." This, along with
Jesus
several other
fucking
instances of
Christ.
mocking and belittling assault victims, is why many in the YouTube community see him as a grape apologist. However, even this pales in comparison to his disturbing stance on PDF files, which includes defending their actions.
"I don't like predators, period. I don't care if you're offending or not offending."
Okay, hold on. Who disagrees with Brittany? Who disagrees with Brittany?
If you just because you lost a child doesn't make you a pedophile. That's not.
Claiming that an adult s***ing a minor is not grooming.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be. I don't think that would be.
Dude, when did Destiny meet Dr. Disrespect? When did they meet? When did somebody pull up the logs? Get the logs. Somebody. When did these two meet? Fuck.
And even debating the quote.
Fuck.
CP.
Apparently, men that are given access to child pornography have a higher chance of not actually committing pedophilic actions in real life. And I would argue that that would be a moral good, that if you can prevent people from acting on those urges, that's something that should be explored.
What about child pornography?
That's kind of a different thing. There's like moral versus pragmatic sides of that. I've seen a little bit of evidence on the pragmatic side, and it seems like
child pornography should not be in circulation or allowed to exist. Josh Duggar is rightfully in jail. His sentence was too light.
Some people, like, if you're being real, like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, like there are some 15, 16-year-old chicks that like look pretty hot. Like I can't help that. Like some people mature old.
Now, some might argue that
Don't say you can't help that. Say, I would never make a pass at a child that looks mature. Just, God damn it, man. What the fuck?
Tweets from July of 2022. It all started with Max Carson, who posted
It was barely 3 years ago.
Quote, "At what age should men start ogling/flirting with you?" And when a girl named Courtney replied to this tweet with 10, Destiny replied to her asking for pictures, stating, "You were hot at 10? Any pics?"
What the fuck?
And after
No!
Destiny replied with one of the most unbelievably disgusting statements he could, reading, "Jesus, I've never wanted to bend someone over the hood of their little tyke so bad. For those who don't know, little tyke is the name of a mini car for children."
I didn't know any of this. Oh my god. Okay, I guess the JonTron thing was like the one good thing he did. Because fuck him. God damn. God damn it. I love how people will like be fans of Destiny and just ignore this and go after Hassan like he's like bludgeoning baby seals with orphans or something. Like, what the fuck?
While people say it's a joke, the message of the joke is that he finds a 10-year-old hot. And even if the second tweet is a joke, that's a big fucking if. How could anyone possibly explain the first tweet where he explicitly asks for pictures of a 10-year-old to evaluate if she's hot? Now,
yeah, it's fucking insane. You can't do that, man.
With Destiny, this is barely the tip of the iceberg. Because in addition to being a massive, unapologetic creep, he also has a history of justifying extreme violence against others without a shred of remorse. And one of the most prominent examples of this is his continued apathy towards Palestinian people, like boldly declaring that he's, quote, pro-genocide and that the Palestinians can go live.
And it's so crazy because he outed JonTron as a racist.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just draw its borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place.
Again, that's this desensitization. This is, why is the quality so dull? I guess we're going to 1080p. This level of desensitization is abhorrent. Like, you can't say something like that. Like, that's not something you can do or say in society. Someone that says something like this has no imagination, because they can't imagine holding one of like the beheaded Palestinian children wondering, why is this happening? They just think like they're just being loud and annoying. I want to take their toys away from them, and their toys in this case is like their homes and ability to eat and breathe. Like it's the internet broke a lot of people, and a guy like this like needed therapy, like a good friend network, and to not be online as much, because he already had issues from the get-go, and like the internet broke him.
That's really shitty, but like that's about right.
Fuck you, Destiny.
Palestinian genocide doesn't exist because, according to him, if Israel wanted to genocide Palestinians, then they would only exist in history books. Maybe Destiny thought this was a clever argument to support his claims, and from the looks of things, he was likely trying to argue the semantics of the word genocide. But it backfired spectacularly. Regardless of his intentions, many people online pointed out how tone-deaf and cruel his comments were, tearing apart his logic with responses like, quote, "It's only genocide when the job is done," is a hell of a take. And saying the Holocaust was a genocide because the
Israelis killed 500,000 Palestinians in the last year and a half, allegedly. Most likely.
This wasn't the worst of it. This video was sponsored by MyHeritage, the #1 family history
I did not know that. I did not know he looked like that.
Your family tree and discover your
Nothing wrong with how he looks. I just didn't know that. I didn't know that was him.
Records. When I was using it, I was impressed to find my relatives dating back.
Again, I'm not. He looks fine.
At the time,
I just did. That's not the face I would have pictured.
You can easily add in family members.
Someone get the shovel out of my hands, please.
To know your story. My favorite feature is the instant discoveries, which allows you to add entire branches to your tree with the click of a button. Another great feature is their image restoration tool, which allows you to breathe new life into old photos.
Oh, god damn it. I didn't realize. I just realized we're doing an ad. We're not doing ads.
To the stream, Destiny came across a tweet reading, "An unprecedented TV investigation by CNN captures some of the cases documented by the Euromed HR of the sniper operations and by the Israeli army of Palestinian citizens carrying flags." This piqued Destiny's interest, leading to him watching the video attached to the tweet. At one point in the video, a person gets shot and his wife runs towards him in grief. And instead of showing any sympathy, this is what he had to say after watching this
video.
Yeah.
So you're saying the woman was acting? I don't think the woman was acting. She probably was sincerely sad. Her husband got fucking killed. But I think they were farming TikTok clips.
This was a bit too far, even for his own viewers. But when his chat tried to call him out on
it's like, hey, we're out here in Gaza. Like and subscribe. We're gonna go talk to some IDF soldiers. Pretend we're Hamas. So hopefully we get some views. Like, what do they? He thinks of the couple that shot them. That the wife shot the husband with the Desert Eagle while she was pregnant and fucking killed him because he used like a regular book. God damn it.
claiming that the people in the video were farming TikToks. Reading, holy shit, Destiny just watched execution footage and said that the very clearly innocent civilians who were doing everything in their power to get to safety, being shot at, were farming TikToks. This guy is watching this on a live stream, which he is definitely making money from. What is this world that I live in? That said,
It's disgusting.
Extreme violence
We could be better than this.
Israel-Palestine conflict. In a live stream, he also supported the idea of black rioters getting gunned down by white militia during the BLM protests.
The rioting needs to fucking stop. And if that means like white redneck fucking militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protests.
Look how animated he gets over BLM protests. Where like where's the outrage for our current president like trying to kill Americans like directly? Where's guys like this popping off saying like the Trump administration is evil? Like this is an Andrew Tate take. This is a Ben Shapiro take. And they're all just lapping up the administration right now. This is fucking bullshit.
That think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my fucking blessing, because holy shit, this fucking shit needs to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago. Like holy fuck.
Stop! Tell cops to stop killing black people.
Were destroying property during protests.
It's too hard. We gotta get a few of them.
Related groups who just come in and gun down civilians crosses a line. He crossed a similar line when he insinuated that the innocent person who died at the Donald Trump shooting somehow deserved it because of his political leanings.
Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy, fuck Trump, fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused.
Dude, what are you talking about?
You don't, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter.
The backlash for this was swift and intense, resulting in his Twitter account getting demonetized. He also received a temporary ban from
Oh yeah, that's right. Twitter is
surprising considering how long it took them to ban literal PDF files like Riot Lol. With a
yeah,
stated,
fuck that
if he gets
guy.
banned on
Fuck
here,
him.
You're a special type of special. However, this didn't stop him from repeating the same rhetoric in later videos.
But it's another thing to mock a innocent Trump supporter that died. The guy didn't have any power. He wasn't a politician. He was just a dude. I don't like...
He wasn't just a dude. He was a guy that was posting a ton of inflammatory shit on his social media, who was at a rally for one of the most inflammatory candidates of all time.
This also highlights
they're lost, and they're learning now what they voted for. Like, we can't focus on like hurting the people that are already getting hurt. Like, leave the door open for them, invite them over, but don't obsess over people that made a bad mistake, that know they made a bad mistake. In his case, he didn't even get a chance to find out that. There's tragedy all around, and it sucks.
I'm not sure if it's in the interest of you guys. I only sent to a few streamers. What exactly can I leak here? I want to dump everything. It's about to be a very white Christmas. Alongside these, Solo Tiny Leaks also uploaded dozens of attachments, including screenshots of his conversations with multiple people and explicit videos of him and his partners. But before we get into these leaks,
really
we need some important context involving Destiny and his ex-wife Melina. Melina and Destiny were in an open relationship.
She's very pretty.
Where they were allowed to see other people as long as the other partner knew about them. However, in mid-2023, rumors began circulating the internet that Destiny was secretly dating another creator by the name of Lauren Southern. This was quite odd, considering Lauren's political leanings towards being a white nationalist. Destiny, on the other hand,
he did allegedly fuck Nick Fuentes, so
the exact opposite of Lauren. So if the two were actually dating, that would go against everything Destiny was preaching through his content. Viewers also began speculating if Melina was aware of this supposed relationship and began asking her for answers. And even though she was appearing more and more in his content as time went on, Destiny continued to deny any romantic involvement with Lauren. During this time, Melina and Destiny also got divorced, adding even more fuel to the rumor mill. However, for the next few months, it just remained that, a rumor. That is, until these leaks by Solo Tiny Leaks, which included screenshots of messages between Destiny and Lauren, confirming that they were indeed a thing. The leaks also included a transcript of the last message Lauren sent to Destiny before breaking up, showing just how close the two were. More importantly, the messages revealed that Destiny was actually cheating on Melina without her knowledge, something she later confirmed in a video. She also talked about how Destiny said that she was crazy and needed therapy when she brought up the possibility of him having an affair with Lauren.
I didn't know about it, that's the thing. Like, I could sense something, but I got told that I was crazy and that what I felt was wrong. And like I got told to go to therapy.
Put simply, these leaks confirm that Destiny, 1, didn't care about politics as much as he presented in his streams and videos, and 2, that he was a liar who managed to cheat on his wife despite being in an open relationship. This enraged most of his loyal fans who felt like they were being lied to for years, with one viewer referring to Destiny as a quote, Weasley little liar dude. However, the backlash from this cheating drama was quickly overshadowed by something far more sinister. You see, the leaks also included dozens of videos of Destiny being intimate with his many partners. Most people assumed that Solo Tiny Leaks somehow gained access to Destiny's phone or computer and stole these videos from there, but the reality was far more disturbing. As it turns out, Destiny had actually willingly shared these videos with a 19-year-old girl on Discord called Rose in exchange for pictures of her feet, and she was the one who got hacked by Solo Tiny Leaks. To make matters worse,
like fucking a bunch of reply girl incels. Jesus Christ.
Destiny shared these videos without asking for permission from his partners, who were also clearly visible in them. This included his ex-wife, who confirmed that he shared what's basically revenge her without her consent or knowledge.
Things that just happened. Yeah, the past month, things that's been done to me, without consent or anything. that has been my past 5 years. that energy, you know?
After learning about these leaks, people also started digging through Destiny's old content. And it didn't take long for someone to find a clip of him admitting to having a collection of such videos that he shares with other people.
I kind of like have like my little archive of like Coomer material that I'll send to people if I want to. There were girls that I talked to past that I'd send stuff of like either me or Melina.
However, Melina was just one of the several partners who were visible in these videos. The second victim was a streamer named Pixie, but unlike Melina, who just wanted to stay as far away from Destiny as possible, Pixie went on the offensive. She contacted Destiny directly and asked for financial compensation in exchange for sharing her explicit videos without her consent. In a conversation with one of Destiny's...
That's a very fair request.
I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life, and I'm essentially asking him to self-punish himself in a way I don't think he'll like or agree to without the law involved. When this conversation became public, some people started hating her for trying to extort Destiny, while others fully supported her.
Because again, like, he
plan,
just
with one
doesn't
person
care.
writing, maybe I have shitty morals, but I don't take issue with her attempting to extort him in the way she did. There's no guarantee that she would have gotten anything the legal way with the power and money imbalance he has over her. And I would guess that if it went to courts and fans found out...
Don't you love like how everyone knows like if you get sued or you sue a wealthy person, like you're just fucked? Like that's just a known thing now with the law. Like if you don't have like $1 million to sue someone, you're out of luck. You're fucked.
Making me a victim of revenge porn. I will be suing him in federal court. Alongside this, she also shared a lengthy statement detailing her story and the exact charges she plans to...
That's a good move. That's a smart move. Drum up support, maybe donations. Hurt Destiny in the finances where he deserves it.
Shared without their consent. Destiny's third victim, on the other hand, didn't even know...
I love in the... I just saw in the report she refers to the other girl as a Discord kitten, which is true. It's
her side of the story on
just
Twitter,
funny.
Stating,
Who's this
"Today
one?
I was made aware of an intimate audio recording taken of me without my consent. That was also shared without my consent. I'm upset right now, and I'm going to give myself time to process." In a later tweet, she confirmed that she was also filing a police report against Destiny. Destiny's initial response to this whole thing, however, was more nonchalant than it should have been.
$20 says Melina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny.
Jesus Christ.
The girl were shared by Destiny
Nice, good one, nice. Yes.
She has no legal
I got a whole bunch of super chats for you. Wick, ready?
Even the title of his lackluster statement on Reddit, "A Legal Arc Beginning in Mysterious Ways Such Wow," was as unserious as possible. More importantly, it didn't provide the answers people were looking for, with the top comment under this post reading, "I want one answer and one answer only. Did you send Pixie's blanks non-consensually to someone you were chatting with on Discord? Your post does not answer this." However, while most people criticized him for this weak and incomplete response, one person chose to give Destiny the benefit of the doubt, writing, "The evidence of
Big
that
mistake.
is clear in other places. The answer is yes. What is unknown is if Destiny had some conversation with Pixie that would lead him to believe he could share these videos privately with others. What this person most likely didn't expect at the time was that their speculation might turn out to be the truth." On the 21st of February 2025, Destiny came out with his second response, which is a lot more comprehensive than anything he said before, suggesting that he's finally taking the matter seriously. He shared a lengthy file containing his statement, including links to screenshots supporting his claims. He also went over the whole thing during a live stream.
On January 20th, 2025, Pixie created a Substack post, which you can see here, signaling her intent to sue me. She has since filed her lawsuit in which she claims I shared explicit material we created together without her permission.
One of the first points he addressed is why it took him this long to come out with a statement. And according to Destiny, a big reason behind his delayed response is because Pixie asked him not to confirm that she was part of these leaks. Reading, once the leaker published and hosted all of my explicit content on Kiwi Farms, Pixie messaged me and informed me that she
Fucking
didn't
Kiwi Farms.
her in any part of the material. As such, I made no public statement regarding any of her appearance in any of the leaked material. Destiny also included screenshots of a conversation between them to back this claim. Reading, I don't want to have to testify or be named or anything. As far as people ask me, I'm saying it's a lookalike. Yeah, okay, I haven't confirmed / denied anything at all publicly and I never will do so. And I'll double check with you before anything ever gets mentioned in a police report or court order or anything. I don't foresee this being a thing, just in case. Please don't tell anyone privately either if they ask if it's actually me or not. From there, he discussed his perspective on the timeline of this controversy and how things unfolded from his point of view. The most significant part of this statement, however, came near the end, where Destiny claimed that Pixie wasn't as innocent as she seemed, stating, Pixie would message people to tell them that she had never ever sent videos of other people to me before, and she betrayed herself in a Substack as though I was
interesting.
the first
Okay,
person
I
to ever
guess.
suggest this to her, and
I guess she's a little bit of a fucker too, I guess.
This statement and implication, however, are both false. She'd sent videos of her and other guys multiple times prior to us ever meeting, and requested material from me as well. It was also her who suggested multiple times that we record stuff when we meet later in 2020. Destiny also alleged that she never mentioned having consent of the men who were in these videos with her. Put simply, he's claiming that even though there was never any explicit consent to share those videos, Pixie's past behavior made it so that consent was assumed. After all, according to Destiny, she was repeatedly sending explicit videos of her and others to him, and possibly others without consent, and wanted to record videos herself. He then ended the statement by providing some behind-the-scenes updates on the lawsuit, including the fact that Pixie asked for a $15 million compensation during early negotiations. Now, while this response did manage to win over some fans and bring them back to Destiny's side, with comments like, I mean, not gonna lie, the fact that Pixie shared a bunch of other people's shit completely changes my perspective on the matter. That's
Yeah, it's definitely muddy.
Not gonna lie, while Destiny's brought this situation on himself, by the nature of
Internet brain rot didn't just hurt men, it hurt women too.
Absolutely eviscerated Pixie in this, and she absolutely overplayed her victim status in this scandal. It's still not
shared sociopsychosis.
This response was entirely focused on Pixie and the lawsuit she filed against Destiny. Yet it makes no mention of his alleged affair with Lauren Southern or Cherry, who claimed that she didn't even know she was being recorded by Destiny. That said, recording and distributing explicit material without consent is a serious crime. If Pixie's lawsuit succeeds, Destiny could face up to 5 years behind bars and be forced to register as a sex offender, effectively destroying his future. Even if the lawsuit doesn't go through, Destiny is not coming out of this unscathed. The damage to his reputation is already severe and will have long-lasting consequences.
Okay. We got a couple of tech gaming videos. Should we stick with gaming, go back to politics for a little bit? What are we feeling? Ooh, that's fucking long. This looks like it's going to be a good one. Caught on camera. You know, that's just Elon leaving his kid behind for a second. Pizza Man here, and more. Already watched David Pakman's thing. Cool. Not apologizing, all that. I lost. Yeah. What do I want to watch? No. This one's this one's important. We got a lot of crap up. Okay, hold on, let me see what I got. No. You know what? Let's see what Luke's got here.
Please stop. I'm begging you. Stop it. Cut it out. That's what I find myself thinking rather often when I read stories about supporters of Trump putting their life in trusting him and having it backfire brutally so. I want to get into in a second here a video that I think perfectly exposes the scam that is Trump's meme coin, his crypto, and how it proves just how little he cares about upholding any norms or resisting any conflicts of interest. But aside from that, we will get to that. Let me just tell you a story of a man. I don't even, it's really sad. He's been posting about how devastating this has been, who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because he put over $1 million.
This dude, the dude he's talking about was all over Reddit and was like streaming like me. Well, he was wearing more than a balaclava. He was wearing more than this. He was in like a full getup, and he's like the recording of him like losing his money. He sounds like a pay pig talking to a streamer about how bad he's been. Like, oh God, I'm so bad. I'm in so much trouble. My wife's gonna leave me. It's like, yeah, dude. Like, you had $1 million. That's half. I know I keep using it's my metric, but that's half an American's lifetime that you got in inheritance. Like, you could have bought a house, cars, kids, college funds, like all sorts of stuff, and you threw it on Donald Trump's crypto. You gave it to Donald Trump. Come on, man, dude. And like, we're falling for the wealth transfer so easily. Like, we're just giving the rich money. Like, please take it, Daddy Trump, make me rich. And he's like, yes, I will. I will make you richer than beyond belief. And just takes the money and like walks off. And the guy's just like, wait, what? Like, God. Let's keep going.
I think it was of his grandpa's inheritance into Trump's meme coin. So Trump launched and advertises, I'll show you, his crypto as buying into sort of the Trump team, becoming a part of Trump's team. And if you are a cultist of his, you probably think, what could go wrong? It's Trump. He's the genius. If he thinks I should invest in it, I should invest in it. And cryptos are notoriously unstable. But a meme coin that's just the only purpose it serves is some people work in the system to take money from the people who don't understand how to work the system as much or time it wrong. And so let's go through a guy on Reddit. I'll keep him anonymous given how tragic it's turning into for him. But
his wife posted in a separate Reddit about how like she needs to leave him.
I took screenshots of a video that he posted.
I've never had that kind of money in my life. In fact, yeah, I have not earned that money in my life. Like, and again, like I'm do pretty okay. But I've never earned that kind of money. Like, through like 20 years of work, I've never earned that. And he got it as an inheritance. Like, that is a nice house. That is a nice car. That is a nice retirement fund. And it was a gift from a grandparent. Like, it pains me in a lot of ways to see that kind of opportunity, and it's just gone. For Donald fucking Trump. I hate him. I hate Trump.
Of his holding in this Trump DJT meme coin, and starting with over $1 million, and then as it happens, he put a bunch in, and then the value of the
kaboom,
as was expected. So you can just see him losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Now here, the market value being $562,000 after having over $1 million there. So he then posted about, again, I just feel for him, but stop doing this. Stop trusting him. But he said Trump would never do this to his supporters, but if it ends up being over, I guess it's all over. I mean, really, I have no future after this. He said he's hopeless and sort of some suicidal ideation. So absolutely tragic and losing everything. Now, it's not just his story. There were a lot of folks, probably mostly supporters of Trump's and other people, but a lot of supporters of his wanted to buy into the Trump team. And the New York Times reports this early trader, whose identity is not known, this is referring to the one who got a bunch of money, walked away with a 2-day profit of as much as $109 million. But that comes at a cost. So a few people make a lot of money, Trump makes a lot of money, and a bunch of his supporters lose a bunch of money. But the fast profits for early traders, whose names are unknown, but some of whom appear to be based in China, came at the expense of a far larger number of slower investors who have cumulatively suffered more than $2 billion in losses after the price of the token crashed. So apparently some folks in China make a bunch of money, and then a bunch of other people, 810,000 wallets, had lost money on the bet, adding up to $2 billion being lost. A bunch of Trump supporters losing a bunch of money because they trusted in Trump or made a poor financial decision. If you have, for example, $1 million of your grandpa's inheritance, don't put that in Trump's meme coin. That when you have that money, you just put it in a nice safe investment and then you're good. As of the middle of this week, more than 810,000 wallets had lost money on the bet, according to an examination that the crypto forensics firm
crypto is just gambling.
Chain Analysis performed for the.
I say that crypto is just gambling. I've bought a couple of lottery tickets, but I've lost a little bit. I've gained a smidge, but it's gambling. Like, it's just gambling. But you gambled to get the kind of wealth he was given. Like, again, that's why I hate gambling, because it's so pointless. Like, when you have that kind of wealth, like, you probably can't retire, but you could take like 10 years off. Like, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. And now he's charging his phone at a McDonald's, wondering why the president betrayed him. And I'm like, listen, buddy, if you're feeling that far out of it, you got a duty for your country to do better than what you're doing with rope. All right? Like, you fucked up. You can still make things right in the end. Like, just don't let him be a lesson to all. Don't do that. It's bad. It's a dumb idea.
New York Times, the total losses are almost certainly much larger. The data does not include transactions that took place on a series of popular crypto marketplaces that started offering the coin only after its price had already surged. So people only going down there, whether people made or lost money. There was one person that, no matter how this turns out, made a bunch of money. It was a stellar business for the Trumps. Nearly $100 million in trading fees have flowed to the family and its partners, although most of that has not yet been cashed out, the chain analysis data shows. So, yes, Trump's net worth technically, when this shot up. And in a sense, he became a lot wealthier. But then it crashes and he's less wealthy. But the real hard money that's being made, that's more stable, is these trading fees that raking in hundreds or at least $100 million to the Trumps. He promoted the coin on his own special platform. This is what I was referring to. As well as Elon Musk X saying, join my very special Trump community. Get your Trump now. Do you remember when on January 6th, or people defending themselves after attacking the Capitol on January 6th, some of them would say, but I was there for the president. The president told me to come there. And so I listened to the president. It's a similar thing here. When Trump says join the Trump community and buy this Trump coin, I don't think you should ever interpret that to mean $1 million being put into it. But you get, if someone's a hardcore supporter of his, they think that that means they can trust him. The chain of events is hardly surprising, several former state and federal financial regulators say. What makes the situation particularly troubling to government watchdogs and former regulators is that the Trump family is profiting from this exploitative pattern at the same time that Mr. Trump is rapidly moving to bring an abrupt end to a regulatory crackdown on crypto by several government agencies. Oh, good! Quote, the president is participating in shady crypto schemes that harm investors while at the same time appointing financial regulators who will roll back protections for victims and who may insulate him and his family from enforcement, said Corey Freyer, who recently left a post as a crypto advisor. Anyone, and then this is from ABC, including leaders of hostile nations, can covertly buy these coins, raising the specter of uninhibited and untraceable foreign influence, that's another part of the crypto thing, over the president of the United States, all while President Trump's supporters are left to shoulder the risk of investing in Trump coin and Melania coin. Oh, Melania got it on the action as well. I don't often give financial advice. But on this, don't do it. That's my financial advice. I'm not a financial genius, but I can tell you, just because some person in China made a lot of money doesn't mean you're going to. And who knows, this is totally speculative, but who knows the potential for insider trading going on. The meme coin also pose a conflict of interest, they write, because Trump's family members are expected to directly profit off an industry he's charged with regulating. The president nominates the chairs of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and Securities and Exchange Commission, the directors of the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that's being dismantled as we speak by Elon Musk, and the Secretary of Treasury. But don't worry, because Trump told us if there's a conflict of interest, I'll make sure it stops.
Like, he lies in real time now. Like, there's no delay. Like,
and so I want to move
he's
from
just
that.
lying.
You may have heard of that story of that gentleman, that guy. It's really tragic. And I do feel for him. But please, other supporters of his, use that as proof that you can't put your trust in this guy. I don't know how long we have to learn that lesson over and over again, how many times. He doesn't care about you. He's robbing you. But here's Democratic Senator Chris Murphy breaking down the absolute scam that this is.
So Trump has done a lot of shady, self-interested shit since taking office, but I want to talk to you about the worst of the corruption, the Trump coin. This is a pure grift. Okay, so Trump coin, it's a meme coin. So it's got no independent value. Its price is just a function of demand. So if a lot of people want it, because they like
it's not
Donald
tied to
Trump,
anything.
then its price goes up. If nobody wants it, then its price plummets. So Trump launches this coin right before the inauguration. Why? Because he wants to make sure that his MAGA supporters, who are like wild with enthusiasm about the inauguration, would buy up a ton of the coin at the outset. It worked. Prices jumped from 18 cents to $75 a piece. And Trump's net worth on paper, it swelled to like $56 billion. And when it fell back down, the price of the coin fell back down to $17. A ton of his supporters who bought it at the top lost actual real money.
Everything.
But the crash, it doesn't matter to Trump because Trump gets a transaction fee. He's made $100 million, probably a lot more, just in trading fees, while many of his supporters have lost thousands of dollars. Okay, but that's not the worst. Trump holds back 80% of the total coin. And what he's going to do is release more when prices get high again. Because in addition to the transaction fees, he gets paid on that initial release of the coin. So how does the price get high again? Well, demand goes up. And who is in the best position to buy a ton of coin to drive up the price? Foreign governments and billionaire CEOs who have business interests before the Trump administration. Now, you might say that's illegal, but it's not. Nothing prevents, like a Russian oligarch, from buying a ton of Trump coin.
He's bought and
in
paid
order to
for.
put money directly into Trump's pocket. And even worse, we will never know if the buyer is a Russian oligarch or a Saudi prince or an oil company CEO, because it's all secret. In the first minute of trading,
it is and
one
it isn't.
Buyer purchased around 6 million Trump coins, sending the price through.
And see, that's the
one
thing.
buyer
You can
was
see
able
the
to send
transaction,
price
but it's who owns the
roof
wallets. That's the
before
issue.
that buyer sold the entire supply for a 2-day profit of more than $100 million. Reporting suggests that in this case, the buyer was probably actually coming out of, wait for it, China.
See, okay, so see, that's how he's like, he says it's secret. The blockchain is visible. All the transactions on it are visible. The wallets are visible. You just need to tie who owns it to it. That's how Razzle Khan, the one that stole $100 billion in crypto, and her and her boyfriend, that's how they got caught. Because they were stupid and sloppy and did it without a laundering plan or an escape plan. Like, they should have gone to they should have escaped to a country with no extradition treaty, bought a private security force, and just dumped the assets into that country. But they're fucking stupid. Again, I want to be a kick streamer. She wants to be a fucking new wave rapper, some insane shit.
When Trump cashes out, he's not doing it through a mainstream exchange. He's doing it through unregulated Chinese exchanges. Why? Because he's hiding something. Either the source of the money or the people connected to him that are getting the payments. Because on a mainstream exchange, you might have a modicum of background checks done on the cash outs.
Real quick, here's another aggravating thing about all this. Trump is the benefactor of all this stuff and the director of all this stuff. He tells people to do it. He does not know how to do, he doesn't know what a blockchain is, what a Coinbase wallet or anything like that is. He has no idea. You see him in his interviews. He's like, oh, how much did they lose on the crypto? Millions. Oh, well, that's chump change to these guys, eh? As he's pointing to the people that likely funneled the money into him to do it. How Trump got the money, got his pay cut from the crypto, it was likely established by an existing billionaire or foreign national directing some of his aides to receive those funds. Those programs, that is far more common a program than you would imagine, believe it or not. Let's keep going.
The Chinese exchanges are totally dark. So while the Trump coin may seem like some silly, hard to understand online fad, it could end up being the most fundamental corruption in the history of the presidency.
Oh, that's a challenge, Chris. That's a challenge for Trump. He's going to do some new corruptions.
And foreign governments to just send him cash in secret.
I mean,
it's secret, but it's out in the open.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
They made a whole deal of, and credit, by the way, to Democratic Senator Chris Murphy, because he's one of the few Democrats out there actually making the case on some of this stuff, and doing so effectively, logically, and level-headedly. But they made such a deal of Joe Biden and called him
yeah
because his son had business interests, because his son did business in Ukraine, for example.
With Burisma,
they could never prove wrongdoing on the part of Joe Biden. But just the fact that Hunter Biden made, and I've mentioned this many times,
$3 million?
what I perceive to be incorrect decisions, a lot of incorrect decisions. I don't think he should have even intertwined himself in certain business interests, just out of courtesy to his dad, but he did.
Yeah.
Which is not Joe Biden's fault, but they still called Joe Biden corrupt wrongly.
The Biden crime family.
They couldn't prove in the connection there. And now, hear me. What they're saying is Joe Biden must be corrupt because his son maybe benefited from having a prominent name in business. As everyone with prominent names does. But, okay, that means because Joe Biden now, he can't govern effectively because he's thinking of Hunter Biden's former business interests. Whatever. Not true, but okay. Then Trump has this conflict because they might say, oh, Chris Murphy can't necessarily say something wrong is going on. No, we can.
Because we don't have to know what it is or who it is or what's going on or if Trump's being influenced or if any foreign governments or foreign individuals or domestic individuals have an interest in influencing him through this. It's irrelevant. The fact that he would even open himself up to such a conflict of interest is so brazenly against the principles that presidents should abide by. Jimmy Carter didn't feel comfortable actively running his peanut farm because conflicts of interest could arise and money being funneled through that business.
Remember morals and ethics? Remember those in the
Trump,
presidency?
I think that's a great...
Seems just like yesterday, doesn't it?
He's just putting his Venmo URL. Or, what are those called? Those little boxes? Jane? Those little squares?
QR code.
QR code. His
whoa!
QR code. He's just throwing that up there.
Damn, there's a whole other guy.
Practically. So that
one-man operation, baby!
Into his pockets. And MAGA doesn't care. They don't care. And then, even separate from that, Trump has previously called these sorts of crypto initiatives scams. Trump has. And now he's doing it, and all that's doing is sucking money out of the pockets of people who trust him and dumping it into people who know how to game the system. And they'll look to him and they'll say, "Thank you, can I have another?"
Please, sir, may I have another?
Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to get the bonus show, you can do it. You should do it.
Yeah, we're good. We're gonna end tonight. I don't want to say upbeat, but we're gonna finish out with the gaming wrap. We're gonna watch Drew Gooden explain why technology is no longer fun and broken and not for the benefit of the people. We're gonna watch that, and then we're gonna watch a Watch Mojo video. I just don't feel like the heavy stuff right now. We're gonna watch every major video game console ranked, and we're gonna call it a night. Let's go.
Hey guy, a couple weeks ago I was at an Airbnb trying to figure out what the $200 cleaning fee is supposed to cover if they're just going to make me do a bunch of chores anyway. When we realized that episode 4 of Severance had just come out. And what great timing. This place had one of those beautiful 85
I gotta finish up season 1 tonight.
that make it look like an art piece on the wall. They had surround.
I have a friend that has one of those. They're really cool. Very expensive. I don't have the money for that.
Imagine a more perfect place to watch what would turn out to be a slightly confusing episode of television. So we turn it on and instantly we're like, why does this look like shit? I know that this TV costs thousands of dollars, and yet the moment anything moves on screen, it turns into this jumbled, blurry mess. But of course, because this kind of thing has been happening for years, we knew it was because of True Motion, or Motion Plus, or whatever this TV calls that feature, where it smooths out every frame and makes everything you watch look like it was shot on an iPhone. The best thing about this feature is that it's always on by default, and nobody I've ever met likes it. It's also named something different by every manufacturer, which makes searching the menus for it a little adventure every time. Now, I know I'm not even close to being the first person to complain about this feature. It seems like everybody hates it, but that's also why it's so confusing to me. If so many people hate this, why after over a decade are TV manufacturers still forcing this down everyone's throats? How do they benefit from making their product look worse? I remember ecstatically buying this Samsung in 2019 and almost returning it because the default settings made it look so bad I thought it was defective. I just kind of sat there in denial about it for almost a week before being like, this can't be right. There has to be a setting I can change. Tragically though, a lot of people don't know about this setting. They don't realize their TV is actively sabotaging their viewing experience. And if this doesn't describe you, it probably describes someone you know. And by that I of course mean your parents. So sit down with them, explain what's going on. Tell them why you get a headache whenever you watch TV with them, and reiterate that it's not their fault. Show them this video by a guy named Noodle.
Let's say it's on twos. The AI doesn't smooth anything between the first and second frames of a single drawing because there's nothing to smooth. They're the same picture. This means that what was originally a perfectly fine 12 FPS animation is now a janky mess.
Or if they'd prefer to hear it from someone they know, have Tom Cruise explain it.
Video interpolation or motion smoothing is a digital effect on most high-definition television.
I'm Tom Cruise. Just make sure they never find out about the whole Scientology thing. You cannot for your dad dad. That movie's very important to him. Now, I will admit, I was a little surprised reading some of the comments on this video, seeing so many people disagree. I didn't know people liked it when the $100 million movie they're watching looks like a soap opera. Now, I understand, of course, from a gaming perspective, people preferring higher frame rates, but I don't think that logic applies to movies. Games are interactive, so generally the smoother something is, the more responsive it feels. But you're not interacting with the movie, you're just watching. It doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. In fact, I think part of what makes a movie look like a movie is the sort of ethereal nature it has. It doesn't look exactly like the way the world around you does through your own eyes, and I don't think it should. I saw someone say they like it because it shows the flaws in movies you couldn't see at 24 FPS, and it's like, no, the interpolation is creating those flaws. It's not reverting a film back to its original settings. It's not a director's cut your TV's giving you private access to. It's just generating new frames based on what it thinks should go in between the existing ones. That's where the errors come from. You're not watching a more authentic version of a movie because Sony Motion Flow added a bunch of blurry auras around every fast-moving object. The most authentic version of a movie is watching it the way it was filmed. You shouldn't have to change anything. And I think more than anything else,
Well,
what really aggravates
talk
me
to George Lucas.
is the hubris of it. There are so many deliberate choices that go into making a movie look a certain way. There's so many people involved in those decisions that know way more about cinematography than I do, so I trust their vision. Why can't TV
I'm hungry.
manufacturers do the same? Why do they look at a beautifully shot television show like it has a problem that they need to fix? Anyway, this experience got me thinking about new technology in a more general sense and how my excitement towards it has waned over time. Sometimes it seems like we kind of already figured everything out. You can communicate with anyone in the world instantaneously. You have immediate access to every piece of music ever made. You can pay some guy to deliver a cold burrito straight to your door and it only costs $70. This is the peak of humanity, baby. There's nowhere else to go from here except backwards. So many things now seem to just invent a new problem so they can sell you the solution. Or if we do create something novel and revolutionary, it's only gonna stay that way long enough for us to kill all our competition, allowing us to ruin our thing and make it infinitely more expensive.
There was a time where streaming services seemed like the final frontier of at-home entertainment, a marriage of cost and convenience that made all previous options obsolete. I mean, my DVDs are just taking up space, and even if I wanted to watch something, I gotta get up, dust off my Xbox, navigate a bunch of menus, switch discs every 4 episodes. Netflix is so much better than this. Until, of course, they quadrupled their price and got rid of every show you ever wanted to watch. So slowly but surely, a lot of people are moving away from the unreliable streaming services and going back to physical media. Things like Blu-rays, vinyls, tooth tunes. And I've actually begun that migration process myself. But because I'm incredibly stupid, here's how it's going for me so far. I started watching Friday Night Lights for the first time in December. It was something I had wanted to watch for years, but always put off, which is crazy because it's a show about football, which I like, with a bunch of music from Explosions in the Sky, a band I grew up listening to all the time. It kind of felt like they made this show specifically for me, and still I was like, I'll get around to it eventually. It wasn't until a couple of months ago that I finally gave it a chance and got really into it. 12 days before it was going to be removed from Netflix. For the last 2 weeks of December, I binged as much of the show as I could, as quickly as I could, until around 3 a.m. on New Year's Eve. 13 minutes left in the season 2 finale. I was given an abrupt error message telling me that my beloved show was now gone. At this point, I was pretty invested, and I didn't just want to wait until it was maybe on Peacock one day, and I certainly didn't want to spend $2 per episode to digitally own it. So I decided what better time than right now to begin my brand new Blu-ray collection, starting naturally with a show I had yet to watch even half of. So about $37 and 8 days later, my Blu-rays show up at my door and I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to see how season 2 ends. So I pop the disc in my computer, try to play it, and it does not work. Turns out the external DVD drive I bought a couple years ago isn't compatible with Blu-rays, so I'm gonna have to buy another one. No problem, what's another $110? Jesus Christ. Well, I already bought the Blu-rays.
Buy PlayStation 4 or 5.
So I bite the bullet on the Blu-ray drive.
Buy PlayStation
it shows
4.
Up 2 days later. Pop it into my computer.
You used
so
one, like
excited
a
to learn
base
what will
one for like
become of
$80.
Brian Smash Williams. Huh, that's weird. Doesn't seem
Maybe
to work
60,
on DLC.
shit.
or the Any DVD app. I guess I could spend $20 on Blu-ray player, play Blu-ray, but that one says in its description that it doesn't play Blu-ray. At this point,
VLC?
I'm a little frustrated,
VLC should
but
just play
even
that.
more than that, I'm confused. So I go where I always turn to in times of crisis, a Google search with the word Reddit thrown onto the end. And believe it or not, even on Reddit, home of some of the most dedicated people on the planet, every single answer I see is, nah man, Power DVD 23 Essential is your only option. There is one way to watch Blu-rays on your computer, and it is with this app. You wanna know how much that app costs? $80. And it's like, I don't want to spend another $80, but I've already spent more than that just to make it to this point. I have to see this through to the end. Anyway, I bought the app, and it works most of the time. Although I should probably say it's been doing this thing now where it tells me my cloud subscription has expired and I need to visit the Cyberlink members zone for more information. So, money well spent. Long story short, I spent $227 to watch a show that I could have seen on Netflix at any point over the past 7 years. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I like it that much. Also, I know what you're thinking. Drew, couldn't you have just put the Blu-rays into your PS5?
Yeah.
You moron?
I didn't know he had one.
I could have. But the whole point of watching it on my computer was so I could second screen RuneScape on my other monitor. What part of dopamine addiction do you not understand?
Can't you?
That was more of a story about my own incompetence than a rant about the
Can't you
state of
PlayStation
technology.
share it?
Here's a rant about the state of technology. I live in Orlando, Florida. My favorite basketball team is the Orlando Magic. They play basketball 20 minutes from my house, and I am
Damn,
not
Drew's a real
allowed to
sports
watch
guy.
them on TV because I live too close. I can sign up for NBA League Pass and watch any other team play except for the one in my city because of blackout restrictions. What do you think, I'm stalking them or something? Whoa, this guy's obsessed. He lives right down the street. I don't understand this restriction, and frankly, I never will.
God,
It's the point
technology's
to
been
incentivize me to buy a
labored
ticket to
against
go see them
us.
in person.
God
They
damn it.
play 41 home games a year. Am I supposed to go to all of them? And if that was the point of it, they wouldn't also black out road games unless you expect me to travel with the team. Guys, do you want me to follow them around or not? I'm getting mixed signals here. Anyway, here's what I've had to do the past 6 years as a paying customer in order to watch my team play. First, I had to sign up for Sling TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an agreement, so I had to switch to Fubo TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an
on
agreement,
Flurby.
so I had to switch to
You can get it on Kubi.
Can you guess where this is going?
They just shut off
couldn't
Tubo.
reach an agreement, and now I can't watch it anywhere. This time in the middle of a season. So out of desperation, I sign up for NBA League Pass, which again prohibits me from watching my team because I live too close. The workaround here is using a VPN to change my location to somewhere else. So now I'm paying for 2 different services just so I can watch the least popular team in the NBA. Adam Silver should be ecstatic that there are freaks like me out here. He should have a photo of me in his office that says #1 customer. So what do they do to thank me for my loyal patronage? Block the use of VPN 6 months later. Do you guys want my money or not? I'm trying so hard to give it to you. Okay, now we're in 2022, and finally, there's a streaming app specifically made for people to watch their local team play. It's a miracle. It's called Bally Sports, and it is the worst app I've ever used in my life. It freezes during commercials. The feed cuts out constantly, especially in the 4th quarter. Not that I wanted to watch that part anyway. It refuses to remember my login information in between games. Did I mention they play 82 of these every year? I'm getting real tired of typing in my password every night. While all of this is happening, behind the scenes, Bally's parent company is not doing so well. They lose over $1.2 billion in 3 months. What, were they setting it on fire? Fast forward a few more months to 2023, and Bally is filing for bankruptcy. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Nope, they're still going. Somehow. Turns out I don't know what bankruptcy actually means. What I do know is that this probably doesn't bode well for the growing list of technical problems they apparently don't have the money to address. So that brings us to today, where after 3 tumultuous years, I'm excited to report that the app is now a little bit more reliable. but also it's been rebranded to the FanDuel Sports Network, which means every second of every broadcast is pretty much just one big ad for gambling. I should make a video about that. I know that this is one very specific gripe.
Abandon all networks.
Problem, but I feel like
cut every
so
cord,
many
end every
like
subscription,
companies that seem to
sail
get
the
their
seven
rocks off
seas.
From making us have to jump through hoops in order
VPNs
to
are not that
They're
expensive.
constantly merging with some other companies.
Like, I use one. I got 3 years of it for $100, and it came with a bunch of perks.
Streaming service like a hot potato.
Bunch of good
Tried to
VPNs out
streamline
there.
everything and only made it more complicated. I can't keep up. I'm just a lowly consumer. Everything's so confusing now. I need a break. An ad break. Let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Oop,
Hi,
nope,
I'm
we're
the
skipping
youngest
that.
I'll ever be.
Nope,
And
definitely
I'm gonna
not.
tell
We're
you-
not doing that. Not happening.
Gizmo, of course. But it seemed like most things that came out had a genuine purpose, that there was more of a collective desire to push humanity forward, to provide solutions to actual problems. And I know that this is all still happening, but it
We
seems
used to
like
do
so
that,
many
like-
innovations now are just new ways to manipulate people, or spy on people, or replace people altogether. I'm not excited about what might be created in the future as much as I'm fearful of it. I'm fearful of what AI is threatening to do to every job on Earth. I'm fearful of all these humanoid robots that keep popping up. What if one of them tries to kill me? Or worse, what if we fall in love? How am I supposed to explain that to people? Steam Deck and surprise. Powerful tiny Mac computer. There seem to be 10 wearable AI companions, or a TV that's free because it never stops showing you ads, or what if you could wear your phone on your head so it could never stop showing you ads? I remember when touchscreen smartphones came out, and I practically started drooling at the idea. This device, which I hate more than anything in the world, is incredible. It's truly amazing what this thing is capable of, but now the question is, where do you go from here? The jumps in phone technology have become pretty unnoticeable, despite how hard they're trying to get us to notice them. When we went from landlines to cell phones, that was crazy. When they added a full keyboard so you didn't have to spend 30 seconds typing one word, that was crazy. And then they added email, and a really good camera, and a touchscreen, and a GPS, and the internet, and a compass, and now you can pay for parking on here, and you can download apps that stop you from spending too much time on other apps. Oh man, that line's really starting to slow down, huh? And this phone costs 4 times as much as this one did. No, that makes sense. If you Google "has technology peaked," their AI overview will tell you, no, of course not. I'm getting stronger every day. And consider this your second strike, Drew. That's awfully ominous. And what was my first? No, of course technology hasn't peaked, but it does feel like it's starting to level off a bit. The improvements between video game consoles used to be astronomical. Now I end up on a side-by-side comparison video squinting as hard
Yeah,
as
it's like I
can
don't see the
trying to
fucking
spot any
differences.
difference. In 1995,
What are
video
we
games
doing?
looked like this. 10 years later, they look like this. 10 years after that, they look like this. And in the 10 years since, they look like, wait, which one is a new one? And I know I'm viewing this from a consumer standpoint. I'm completely oblivious to the strides being made in medicine and science and interplanetary defense mechanisms. But it just seems like whenever a new thing comes out, we have to pay a lot for very little. Technology has gone so far in the wrong direction that people are now trying to find ways to go back. Physical media is making a comeback. Dumb phones are making a comeback. As people become more disillusioned to the future that was promised to us, the best way to break out of it is to recapture a sense of simplicity. And not all of this is just nostalgia. I think some of it speaks to the fundamental difference in how things are made now. You used to be able to own things. Now almost everything is borrowed. You're not buying a product, you're subscribing to a service. I don't own a...
The things you own you. More. Everything's a subscription. A mortgage is a subscription to your house. An auto loan payment is a subscription to your house. Same thing as car insurance. Like, meal kits are subscription food. Like, everything's a fucking subscription, and I hate it. God. Like, just let me...
a bunch of music because I'm paying Spotify every month. I'm just temporarily given access to music until I stop paying and then have nothing to show for it. And even if you do buy a physical product, there's no guarantee it's gonna stay in the condition it was in when you bought it. A lot of things now can be remotely updated or even deactivated. The Spotify car thing completely bricked when they stopped wanting to deal with it. A few months ago, Roku forced an update onto all of their TVs, making it so you can't turn the motion smoothing feature off. This company just announced they're gonna start charging a monthly fee so anyone who already bought their thermostat can continue.
I kept my old one. And I'll fucking put it on there. Don't start that shit with me. Alright? Fuckers. Not the chat. We all know we're being watched. Like, fuck these smart companies if they want to pull that shit.
To use it. We're buying things that can be made worse or taken away from us whenever the manufacturer feels like it. So what are we even?
And we bought them initially because of like the convenience, the separation from existing services that were supposed to be easier. Like a Roku stick 10 years ago was a value in itself. It was $20 and you got all this shit for free. There wasn't a crazy amount of ads. It was tight. Now it's like everything is expensive. The subscriptions are possibly expensive. And it's like, we can't afford it anymore. We all need to abandon the subscriptions. Like everything, as much as you can, as far as you can. Just jump ship. Please.
Buying anymore. These things aren't designed to last because the entire economic system in this country is based on perceived shareholder value. If I sell you a product that you only have to buy once and then get to keep it forever, how will I get more money from you in the future? How will line keep go up if transactions...
Capitalism is... capitalism is, I've always said it, profit over prosperity, but also profit for the sake of waste. Like there was a story that came out 2 years ago. I keep the link around somewhere, but Amazon would empty entire warehouses filled with like TVs, printers, kitchen items, everything, all this stuff, brand new stuff. They would empty these entire warehouses and dump all the product into a landfill so they have that warehouse space for additional and different products. Like, it's insane. It's like, if you're not going to use this 50-inch TV, then just give it to someone. Like, I know it doesn't seem like you should give it to the needy, but like, yeah, you give them something nice. They don't have to like work so hard to earn that one nice thing. They can spend that money on food and like actually better themselves, and they get a nice product out of it instead of it just going in a fucking landfill to poison the groundwater. And like fast fashion, again, Taylor Swift, sorry, like all these fast fashion products that are like shitty garments, like constantly ripping and tearing and not lasting and just completely like... You used to buy shirts that would last you like 20 years. And now like you get clothes and like they're toilet paper after a couple of months. Like, it's, yeah. Quality over quantity, please.
Action over. So things break or become obsolete. A lot of tech devices are more affordable than they used to be, but they're also more disposable. The interface on your 4-year-old smart TV suddenly
my fucking fridge when we bought our house had a 5-year warranty on it. Motherfucking compressor on the thing went right after the warranty expired. Cost us $500 to get and that was like a steal to get a new compressor jammed in there. And like, it works again. But here's the thing, like, I will be insanely lucky if I get another 10 years out of the new compressor. Insanely lucky. And it sucks. Like, there are fridges and units that from like the 80s that still run well. But things are just not built to last anymore. It fucking sucks.
Takes 10 times.
Cars too.
Your
Fuck.
iPhone 12 suddenly crashes 5 times a day. No, we're not doing that on purpose. But it does kind of seem like a sign that it's time to buy a new one, right? And this isn't a conspiracy or an exaggeration. Technology is making us dumber. Rarely while using your phone are you in the driver's seat, except when you're texting while driving, which is a lot of fun. But it's mostly a passive activity. More often than not, you don't open an app in order to do a specific thing. You open an app and just see whatever it chooses to show you. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. Either way, the past hour of your life
Shorts,
was
Reels, and
entirely
yes,
decided
TikTok
by an algorithm.
are the sources of primary sources of brain rot, especially in Gen Z.
And submit to whatever Mark Zuckerberg has curated for you. And the more we're conditioned to accept...
Years ago, like I want to say like 5-6 years ago, I used to... God. Yeah, 6 years ago. I used to love watching like CinemaSins. Like I thought they were very clever, very funny. Like they pointed out the absurdity in a lot of like good and bad movies. But it got to the point where I'm watching it and I'm like, it's just making me hate like good movies. I'm constantly looking at movies and like nitpicking them and picking them apart now. And I love cinema. Cinema is one of my deepest and truest passions. And I was just being taught like to hate it by this channel I was watching. And like it got to the point where like the quality dip was especially noticeable with CinemaSins. Their quality dipped bad. Like it turned like it went from being like clever and endearing to like kind of just cruel and lazy. And I bring that up because it's like when you let like the media you're enjoying cause you to be less, like you need to stop enjoying it. Like I got rid of my Facebook. It's so good to get rid of it. So there's no Facebook Shorts anymore. The YouTube Shorts, God, is there a way to turn them off? I'm going to search for a setting. Google used to allow like modification to like the search and the website and stuff through like experimental features. And if I could turn off Shorts, like I would. I just would. Like YouTube content now has all the sweet spots, like outside of Shorts. Like you've got 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute, 20 to 30-minute videos, hour videos, and then 2 to 3 hour videos. And there was a time, like, back in the day when YouTube first came on, like, the range was whatever, anywhere. Some people had, like, 30-hour videos on YouTube until they decided to compress, and, like, you can still find ridiculously long videos on here, but they're generally, like, smaller files, less use cases, like, they can be packed away more easily. But you see that range I mentioned earlier of various types of videos. Like the content worth consuming is here, and the shorts are like these are snacks. Talk to any doctor, they'll tell you snacks are bad for you. You shouldn't be snacking. You should be eating regular meals. Like we are not furnaces that you can keep just pouring fuel into, and it's okay, it's keeping pace, everything. Like, no, like this causes burnout. This lowers your capacity for consuming media of this type. And like frankly, this is gonna sound cliche, but like we should be reading a lot more books as a society. Like reading books stimulates parts of your brain that like Shorts and Reels all shut off. They all shut down. And like, if you talk to like Zuckerberg, Thiel, that was a bad example. Anyone high up in the tech field or the social media empires, they don't let their children use this stuff. Like this is crack. This is digital and mental crack meant to like fry your brain and stop you from thinking. And it's got to go. Like, there's got to be options of, like, just getting rid of this stuff or not being able to participate, which is something, again, Facebook should allow. It should allow you to participate in the algorithm or not, but they don't. And that's why, like, I had to go because I'm not giving my information to Zuck anymore, and I'm not frying my brain over his fucking bullshit. Fucking Nazi sympathizing fuck.
this relationship, the easier it is to sell us an AI agent that
Yeah.
does all of our
This is all
thinking for
bullshit.
us and that we learn to trust implicitly. I mean, how am I supposed to be excited about technology when this is the direction we're headed in?
It seems like everything is
fucking bullshit.
trying to turn into everything else. A new app will come along with
And if
one
you're watching,
specific
like and
niche
subscribe.
use, and then inevitably
Please.
it turned into yet another
God,
form of social
for
media.
some
Like
long
the Shop
form
app. I've been using this for a
rants
couple years because I like the
from a
idea
deranged
of having one
leftist.
account that works across
Me.
multiple websites. But now, of course, it's just like another thing designed for you to scroll through. I open it up to see how far away my pants are, and it's like, oh hey, you want to buy something else while you're here? You want some Alpha Lion Superhuman Hulk juice? What about Goof juice? Chug juice?
I'm
Oh,
kicking
I know
Amazon
what you
too.
want.
Fuck them.
A little cake shaped like Texas. They also give you rewards, but it amounts to virtually nothing and is really just an excuse to send you more push notifications. Hey, don't forget to use that 14-cent credit before it runs out. It
Fuck
only
off.
works on this website that sells hoodies for dogs. You open up the Ring app so you can see who's knocking at your door, and they're like, hey, you want to see this funny video of a goat? Venmo
Fuck
defaults
off.
to the page showing you how many of your friends had pizza this week. Why do I need to know that? I bought that light in the corner a few months ago, and the only way to control it is through an app. And you're probably thinking, certainly there's no social media aspect to an app that turns lights on and off, and that might just be the dumbest thing you've ever said. Of course it has its own news feed and hashtags. Of course there's a pop-up telling me to take the Govi app user experience survey so I can earn
Fuck
50
off.
Govi points and a chance to win Govi merch. App is a goddamn joke now. Worst change to an app that could ever happen. Can't even remember my dream view settings anymore. May as well check all my lights and ban if this is the only way to control them. What a joke. Well, I wanted to respond to this comment saying that I'm just here for the Govi points, hashtag Govi rewards program, but that feature is only available to savvy users. So I agreed to the savvy terms and conditions, and they congratulated me on becoming a savvy user. You're following all of this, right? Instagram has its own TikTok feature. Twitter has its own TikTok feature. And you probably guessed this because you'd never make the same mistake twice. The Govi app has its own TikTok feature. Everything is the same thing,
Dumb.
and I'm tired of it. These apps are all so intense.
It's fucking
on
dumb.
monopolizing your time that they'll design it in a way that makes it hard for you to leave. You click a YouTube link on the Facebook
It's true. Like,
Messenger
God,
app,
I
and
find
instead of
myself
just
scrolling
taking
through
you there,
shorts.
it'll be like, oh, I
Like all the fucking time, and I'm like, I don't want to see this. I just want to know what the fuck's going on right
There's
now.
a button. It doesn't work though. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's
It
here's
will work.
here's 40 clips from various movies, not saying which ones are which or like what's going on. Enjoy. Hope you like watching clips from a show from 20 years ago that was really good in its full context, but we're just gonna give you 30 seconds of it, you dumb fuck. Fuck!
Prevent you from accidentally exiting out of like a checkout screen or a form you're halfway through filling out. But they're just using it anywhere on their website. Literally scrolling through the homepage, I try to leave. They grab my arm and say, "No,
Grab
are you
you.
sure you're done
I
with
try to
us?
get out, but they keep
We're
pulling me
just about
back
to show you
in."
a really cool ad. Are you sure you don't want to see what it looks like?" Sometimes I feel like you don't even like me anymore. It's no wonder so many people are trying to turn the clock back on technology and return to a simpler era. Not so far back that you gotta like eat bugs and sleep on a log, but just back to when these modern conveniences were still exciting and didn't feel so predatory and manipulative.
Dude,
Technological
90s and
advancements don't
64
feel
popping
fun
into
anymore
cartridge was
because
like
of
the
the
coolest fucking
motivation
thing ever.
behind so many of them. It doesn't feel like we're trying to make life better when almost everything is designed to be as addictive as possible. These things aren't supposed to be fun additions to your life. They're supposed to be a new thing for your life to revolve around. And no amount of profit or growth will ever be enough. It seems like there's more thought put into how you can continue to charge people for something they already
We
own
need to
than
stop
just
participating
expand the
in
experience
capitalism
of it
as
in the first
much
place.
as
But hey,
possible.
at least we're using all that
We
extra
just have
revenue to
to.
pay the employees, right?
Start a garden if you can. Like, start a garden in your
Sorry,
backyard.
I'm doing that thing again, right?
Um,
Try to provide catharsis by ranting in a critical yet lighthearted fashion, but just end up spreading more negativity in the process. So I'd like to end this video by highlighting some technological innovations that I'm thankful for. Number one, fiber internet. In 2018, we lived in a house where it would take me 2 hours to upload a 15-minute YouTube video. And during that time, no other device in the house could connect to the internet because I was using all of it. Now
That's
I get
true.
like 2 gigs per second and it never goes out. That's a luxury I know I take.
That's
for
one of the
granted. Now, I should
few
probably say
good
that
ones
AT&T
still.
almost electrocuted me when they were digging in our front.
They recently raised my internet bill for the first time in like 4 years, and it went up by like $1.50, and I'm like, fair, and like you're You're not ass fucking me like all my other bills are. So, and like I don't even have like the max. Like I think I have like the intro medium level internet. And it's great. I get everything. No complaints.
Yard burst into a water pipe, flooded half the neighborhood, and knocked down a power line, leaving live wires dangerously close to the newly installed moat they surprised me with. But they did offer me a $1 credit when I called to complain. So I wish I was joking about that. They destroyed our lawn and then offered $1 single as an apology. And you know what? They're still not as bad as Spectrum. Number 2, our Nespresso machine. This is the world's greatest invention. It's all the convenience of a Keurig, except it doesn't taste like burnt garbage, and you can actually send the pods back when you're done to have them recycled. I mean, allegedly. They probably just throw them in the ocean like I do. I can't believe these pods are only moderately more expensive than K-Cups. They taste 100 times better, and you don't have to wait 45 minutes for it to cool off. Side note, how much money do you think Sabrina Carpenter turned down to not do a collaboration with them? They had to have asked, right? That's that mean Nespresso.
5 to 10 million.
It was right
10
there.
million.
What are
I'd
you
say
guys
10
waiting
million.
for? Some stupid YouTuber to promote your shit for free? Never gonna happen, bozo. Number 3, electric razors. Why was I scraping the shit out of my face for so long? These things aren't just better, but they're cheaper in the long run because you don't have to change the blades all the time. And I can use it on my balls.
Oh, was that it? It was just the 3 things? Sorry, I thought I'd have more time to think of an outro here. Thank you.
Alrighty. We are going to watch one more video, and then I'm going to call it for tonight. Anyone in the chat? Anyone? Shard, are you still there? If you are... I'm too tired to get as mad as I was earlier, but like... Lindsey Graham is a disgrace. He's always been a disgrace. An allegedly gay man, never coming out and just serving the GOP. He's betrayed every principle he has. He's a monster. Fuck him. He says some heinous shit about Zelenskyy. Traitor to the nation. Fuck him. Hope he falls. I hope. Yeah, I don't wish well for him. Fuck him. Hold on. No one's here. I mean, I see a few people in here, but I don't know if you guys are watching. I'm putting this one off. It's 8 minutes. Eric Prince, Betsy DeVos' brother. He is a monster. He thinks he's Solid Snake. He's not. He's just a monster. God. Let's go with the consoles. I need less of a headache.
Hills presents In Television. Hills presents In Television. Intelligent television by Mattel.
Intelligent
more
television.
Sophisticated than any video game that has come before.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're taking a look at every one of these perfect magic boxes that have ever been released and judging them heavily and probably unfairly. This is every video game console ranked. Technically, we may not have every console on this list, but we focused on the 31 biggest in the industry. Let's go. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Magnavox Odyssey.
What does your family do on those stay indoors rainy afternoons? Or on those cold, blustery winter days?
The Magnavox Odyssey was the first ever video game console, preceding even Atari Pong, which many have forgotten. A blend of analog and digital circuitry, it marked the true beginning of home gaming. Despite lacking color output or sound, the Odyssey still sold over 300,000 units. It
That's not
featured
bad
a
back in
cartridge
the day.
system, simple box-shaped controllers, and it also introduced the first home light gun, preceding the NES. Its game library consisted of basic, single-function titles like baseball, basketball, and ski. Take a guess what you do in those games. Due to the system's simplicity, no third-party games were ever developed for it. I guess that's why God of War had to wait a few years.
Also available as an option is this special organizer case with separate compartments designed to hold all games and equipment.
Atari Jaguar.
Sega Genesis is 16 bits. 3DO is 32 bits.
Yeah, they fucked up the marketing on that one.
The lesser known by today's standards Atari Jaguar released around the same time as the SNES. While the SNES boasted cutting-edge 16-bit technology, the Jaguar touted unprecedented 64-bit processing power, making it the first of its kind in the home market. Marketing hype aside,
My spouse
the
has
Jaguar was indeed
an old
powerful for
family
its
member's
generation,
one that we
offering
have lying
superior
around.
2D and 3D capabilities.
I think we have like
compared to
2
its
games
Yet
for it.
somehow it didn't stand the test of time as Sony and Sega were on the horizon with the PlayStation and the Saturn. I'd hate to be in the console war and see the PlayStation coming over the horizon. Just put the sword down and run. Atari 5200.
Here's Pac-Man on ColecoVision. But here's Pac-Man for the Atari 5200 Super System. Now you talk.
The Atari 5200 was originally designed and marketed as Atari's response to the Intellivision, but after its 1982 release, it found itself in direct competition with the ColecoVision, which launched the same year. While its processor outshone the Intellivision, the ColecoVision's impressive 3.58 MHz processor ultimately took the trophy from Atari while it was still warm from the Intellivision's hands. That became a common theme in the 80s and 90s. While someone had the title of top of the industry, 5 other companies were working on improving upon that leader, and they all released at the same time. It was an all-out brawl.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system?
The 3DO may not have been a financial success, but it still made a lasting impact on the gaming industry. Released by Panasonic in 1993, the 3DO Interactive Multiplayer was a 32-bit disc-based console with the hardware power to compete with the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. However, it was $700. 3DO, chill. Despite its high cost, the 3DO featured an impressive range of peripherals and could support up to 8 controllers, as well as expansions like memory cards, modems, and video cartridges. While it lacked a strong lineup of exclusives, it offered some of the best versions of major franchise ports, including Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It also introduced key innovations
you can't beat
such
Turbo.
as daisy-chainable controllers and built-in surround sound support, helping to push gaming technology forward. Magnavox Odyssey 2.
Part of the all-new computer video game Odyssey 2 from Magnavox. Lots of multi-game cartridges. Sports games, football. You've never seen anything quite like it.
We spoke about the Magnavox Odyssey 1 earlier as it began the industry selling 300,000 units. If you want to understand its impact on the industry, the Magnavox Odyssey 2 sold 2 million units. Boom! Improvement. The Odyssey 2 adopted many of the industry standards of the time, including interchangeable cartridges and one-button joystick. While its resolution was lower than the Atari 2600, it offered notable advantages, such as built-in full keyboards for programming and educational software, as well as an optional speech synthesizer. The system had a larger game library than its predecessor, with over 50 titles, including KC Munchkin, a popular Pac-Man clone. Despite those innovations, the Odyssey 2 never achieved the same level of success as the Atari 2600. Neo Geo. Unlike other home consoles of the time, the Neo Geo home console, the AES, was identical to its arcade counterpart, the MVS, making it vastly superior to the Super NES and Sega Genesis in both graphics and sound. However, this power came at a steep price, $800, with individual games costing upwards of $200 each. I mean, that's more expensive than today. The justification? Storage size. While Super NES and Genesis cartridges typically maxed out at 16 megabits, Neo Geo games could reach a staggering 330 megabits. Due to its high cost, few retailers were willing to stock the
I kind of really want to play some Doom. I got the Doom bug in me right now.
Within 2 years.
I still got to finish Bolt Gun. Bolt Gun is just long. Bolt Gun's very long.
When I'm not going for high scores in the arcades, I'm home playing games on my Atari 7800. As an expert, I like the 7800 because there are great arcade hits like Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong Jr.
The Atari 7800, Atari 2600, Atari 5200. Am I the only person who thinks Atari has the worst branding manager of all time? That bastard should have been fired. Originally
They're just
intended
big
as
fans of the
successor to
800.
The Atari 5200 in 1984, the 7800 was shelved when Atari's new owners
I played a
shifted focus
7800.
to the computer market. It wasn't
bad. It was actually kind of solid.
The rise of Nintendo
The controller
and
was
Sega
weird
in
as
the US
shit.
with the NES and Master System that Atari finally brought the 7800 to market. However, by then, much of its technology was already outdated. Again, terrible business decision. Atari marketed the 7800 as a budget-friendly system, with many games selling for under $20. Visually, it was capable, but its sound capabilities were underwhelming. Compounding its struggles, Nintendo's strict third-party exclusivity agreements made it difficult for Atari to secure developers. Decent console, bad business. TurboGrafx-16.
The next generation video game system. It's 4 times faster, so the games are more exciting.
In 1987, NEC found massive success in Japan with the PC Engine, a console that frequently outsold the Famicom, Japan's NES. Hoping to replicate the success in North America, NEC rebranded the system as the TurboGrafx-16 and positioned it as a competitor to Nintendo and Sega. However, the console struggled to gain traction in the US market. Maybe because they changed the simple name of the NEC, the NEC, to TurboGrafx-16 or TurboGrafx-16. I truly believe if I had a time machine, I could be the Don Draper of video game marketing in the 80s. Its pack-in game, Keith Courage in Alpha Zones, was a largely unknown title, whereas Genesis
you could solve the Donald Trump problem before it became a bigger problem.
Hit that closely resembled its coin-op counterpart. The console's hardware also worked against it. While marketed as a 16-bit system, it was underpowered compared to the Genesis. It even lacked a second controller port. Players had to buy a separate peripheral just to enjoy 2-player games. Unsurprisingly, the TurboGrafx-16 fell to 4th place behind the NES, Super NES, and Genesis, and it never recovered. Wii U.
This is how you'll play next, using the all-new Wii U gamepad controller.
Finally, a console some of you might have heard of, making me feel really old. The Wii U was ahead of its time. In recent years, handheld cloud devices have emerged, allowing players to stream games from their consoles or PCs without monopolizing the TV. But Nintendo pioneered this concept first, and arguably did it the best. While not without flaws, the Wii U gamepad wasn't nearly as bad as its critics claimed in 2012.
The Wii U was a mistake, but it was a step in the right direction. It got a bad rap, it was badly marketed, but for a long time, there were a lot of good games trapped on it. And I mean, Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS, in my opinion, I think it's better than Ultimate. Like, I think that's the peak of Smash. Like, yeah, it's missing some of the other characters that got added on in Ultimate, but I feel like it's just a better game. And it innovated so much, and it's trapped on those 2 consoles. Yeah, I feel bad for the Wii U. Like, God, poor Satoru Iwata. He tried so hard in his final years to do right by Nintendo, right by the employees, right by the gamers, and it did kind of fall short. But, like, he tried, man.
Nintendo clearly refined the idea with their next console, but the core concept was still innovative. Unfortunately, the Wii U suffered from a short lifespan and weak third-party support, resulting in a limited game library. I'm sick of pretending. I'm gonna say it, damn it. I love my Wii U.
Like, I got my Wii U, like,
Xbox on. So,
a year before the Switch came out.
Xbox, go to Titanfall. This is
insane. I thought it was really nice.
More like a streamlined PC than a traditional console, the Xbox One featured multi-core AMD processors, HDR and 4K video support, cloud storage, game streaming, and a wide range of multimedia capabilities. But none of you care about that. What exclusives does it have? In addition to stunning versions of multi-platform hits like The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Fallout 4, the console also delivered standout exclusives such as Forza Horizon 4, Sea of Thieves, and Halo 5. Unfortunately, PS4 had God of War, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Uncharted, Persona, Ghost of Tsushima, Ratchet & Clank.
Yeah, the PS4 ate Xbox's lunch. And it kind of did with the 5 too, but like, the problem with the 5 is like they wasted this entire generation with live service crap. Instead of putting money into like good single-player games. Like, we're going to get The Witcher 4 at the end. Same thing with GTA 6 coming out this year. It's half a decade wasted.
In television, a blend of the words intelligent and television.
It's hard to believe believe how
was a
old the
major
PlayStation
competitor
5
to the
is.
Atari 2600. Technologically, Intellivision was a step ahead of the Atari 2600. They also secured high-profile licenses to enhance their game library, including official sports games for MLB, NFL, NHL, and NBA, as well as a series of Tron-based games to coincide with the release of the film. Brilliant. While the Intellivision never dethroned the Atari 2600 as the dominant system of the era, it introduced several noteworthy innovations. Along with its superior graphics, the system offered a speech add-on for games and even pioneered the concept of downloadable games with the Play Cable, a test-marketed service that distributed Intellivision titles via cable television. I don't need to tell you how innovative this feature was. Xbox Series X and S.
What's good? Hey.
I promise, there's no ill intent in the placement of this list because the Xbox Series X and S are wonderful consoles, but there are a lot of consoles out there and they had to fit in somewhere. Ultimately, the hardware is strong and the controller is great, but there still aren't enough standout exclusives to justify investing in this console over the PS5. I'm sorry. I wanted to do whatever I could to not bring up the rivalry, but as we've seen, rivalries have been fundamental to the console wars since 1972.
Yeah, the Xbox One. It's one of its biggest missteps was the series was the S. The S never should have been made.
Challenges you with the ultimate video game, the Sega Master System.
The Sega Master System was the console that almost made it. Despite being technically superior to the dominant NES, it lacked one crucial element: Mario. Without this iconic character and with Sonic still 5 years away from debuting, the Master System lagged far behind the NES during the 8-bit era. Sega did
mascots do a lot of work.
Solid original titles, including Alex Kidd in Miracle World and the iconic Phantasy Star.
God, I'm
but
fucking
due to
hungry.
Nintendo's exclusive deals,
But
the
it's
Master
no
System
purchase
saw
day,
really
and I
good
can't go anywhere to
growth,
get anything, and I'm
software
hungry.
releases were frustratingly
Also, it's
slow,
fucking 11
with
o'clock.
months often passing between major games.
wonder
Can you
what I
imagine
can
that
make.
today? Despite its small audience, the Master System has remained beloved by a loyal fan base. Thankfully, the setbacks faced by the Master System didn't stop Sega from moving forward, leading to the Genesis. Sega Saturn.
I have arranged for you to meet my companion. He will lead you.
Jumping past the Genesis, we're looking at the Sega Saturn. The system made a splash at the 1995 Electronic Entertainment Expo with a surprise launch, hitting the market 4 months earlier than the initial plan. Sega aimed to beat Sony.
A friend of mine
to the
had a
punch
Game
before
Gear
the
growing up,
PlayStation
and I was like,
released
this
that
is
holiday
wild.
season.
And then my
Although the
grandmother
Saturn
found
ultimately
a
lost
Genesis
popularity
Nomad
battle
at a
to both
garage
Sony
sale.
and Nintendo. It hosted
And that
a
was like the
collection of classic
craziest
titles
thing.
that highlighted
The
Sega's
Genesis
early
Nomad,
software
God, the
trade
Genesis
secrets.
Nomad was the Switch before the
Saturn
Switch.
became a gem for
It
importers
took
and
6
hardcore
AA
games.
batteries,
Its
and it would
architecture,
crush them
which
in
made it
about
less suited for
3
games
hours.
like Tomb Raider, was
But
no
you
match
got
for
so
PlayStation.
much out of
Its
that, and if you
owners
had the
knew
AC
it was
cable,
the best system to play the finest
like,
versions
it
of
was
many
so
2D
fucking
fighters.
good. I
So,
beat the
while you don't
piss
get
out
Final
of
Fantasy,
Sonic the
Resident
Hedgehog
Evil,
3 on
Metal Gear
that.
Solid,
And
you
it
get
had a
2D fighters.
AV out, so you could play it on your TV. It was a full Genesis, and it was a handheld. And you could plug other controllers into it. It was fucking great. Like, that was the Switch before the Switch.
3.
Dear PlayStation.
Yeah.
My grandma won't stop watching Blu-ray movies on my PS3.
The PlayStation 3, alongside the Xbox 360, revolutionized online gaming by setting new standards for accessibility and functionality. Gone were the days when everything you played had to be on a disc. And for better or worse, this generation was one of the biggest for innovation. With services like the PlayStation Network, players could now purchase and enjoy complete games without ever leaving their couch. Plus, the rise of downloadable content allowed games to expand in exciting new ways. The PS3's game library was impressive, and similar to how the PlayStation 2 popularized DVDs, the PlayStation 3 brought Blu-ray players into millions of homes, helping it secure Blu-ray's victory over the HD DVD in the high-definition format war. The console took a certain beating publicly in the console wars, but has retroactively become more appreciated.
Yeah, sure, but it's complicated. All right? Look, all right, just hear me out on this. I got
Nintendo GameCube. Nintendo's small purple cube-shaped GameCube often faces criticism for its toy-like appearance and lack of certain technical features found in competing systems, such as digital output. However, despite its cute exterior, the GameCube was a powerful console that delivered an impressive array of unforgettable games. It marked a significant shift for Nintendo. While Sony marketed the sleek PlayStation 2 as a high-tech home media device, Nintendo marketed the GameCube as a simple, family-friendly gaming console, a shift that stuck throughout the rest of Nintendo's history. In total, the GameCube sold around 22 million units worldwide, about 118 million.
The GameCube is a very interesting console. Like, my mother got me that instead of a PlayStation. And I thought she was, like, not listening to me because I wanted a PlayStation. I think she knew what she was doing because, at least with that, because there was a lot more graphic stuff on PlayStation as a kid. And the GameCube only had like 800 games. The PlayStation 2 had like, what, like 5,000, something insane?
As their historical impact hasn't been recognized yet, but I feel comfortable placing this mammoth smack bang in the middle because I use it basically every single day. The PS5 boasts the best controller of any current gen console and has a sleek design, though it requires a bit of space to truly appreciate its size. Its launch was hindered by production delays, resulting in limited availability for several years. It was one of the shakiest releases of a console to
I think
date,
I got a
but it
5.
stood up strong despite this. Or lay down on its
I got a 5 like
whatever.
6 months, a year after they launched. Great purchase though. I don't regret it at all.
You already own a powerful state-of-the-art computer that gives you the arcade experience with the newest arcade games like Donkey Kong Jr.
As Atari 2600 and Mattel Intellivision began to age, toy manufacturer Coleco, known for its plug-and-play Pong clones and licensed handheld games, entered the market in 1982 with its own console, the ColecoVision. The system became famous for its exceptional ability to replicate popular arcade games at home. Coleco secured the rights to produce home versions
Coming
of
up on
successful arcade
12-hour
hits,
days
and the ColecoVision's powerful hardware allowed for remarkably accurate adaptations, far superior to what Atari 2600 or Intellivision could offer. The video game crash of 1983 severely impacted ColecoVision. Turns out, when you're beating Atari at basketball, they just release ET and take their ball home. PlayStation 4.
Just a perfect day.
Drink sangria in the park.
Built on similar technology as the Xbox One and released almost concurrently, the PS4 saw Sony focus primarily on games rather than multimedia features, quickly gaining the upper hand in the PR battle with Microsoft. With its excellent controller, significantly enhanced online infrastructure, and seamless sharing and streaming features, it proved to be an innovative system. However, its true strength lies in its impressive lineup of first and second-party games. Titles like Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Bloodborne, and Death Stranding all push the boundaries of video games. And I know I already said most of these during Xbox One's entry, but it was so good, I had to do it again. I loved my PS4, and I bet you guys did too. Xbox.
So real talk, for Spider-Man 3, he's got to go back to the classic costume. Even if it's a modified version of it. As much as I love the Velocity suit, not the Velocity suit, the Advanced suit, and the improved version, I think they need to go back to the classic.
And its game library wasn't the largest, it set the stage for many of today's gaming standards. The Xbox made two major contributions to gaming, Halo and Xbox Live. N64 fans might argue
God, I forgot about that fucking commercial.
first-person shooters on consoles, but it was Halo that truly modernized the genre. Nearly every FPS since has adopted its control scheme and a modified version of its health system. What Halo really excelled at, though, was introducing the first console-based 16-player LAN battles. It was the first shooter that made PC gamers envious, signaling the start of a shift.
God, I can't believe how badly the Halo show failed.
Live laid the foundation for the beloved service we see on Xbox 360. I had a PS2 and I was still jealous of my Xbox friends. Atari 2600.
I'll blow this town to smithereens. Time bombs. Try to get
up there in time, Spider-Man!
Watch me cut my web, Goblin.
This is the console that laid the foundation for our entire industry. While it nearly pushed
Did-
video games
did they
to the brink
animate
in its
Gwen
later
Stacy
years,
dying?
the
What?
Atari 2600 was
Oh, it
undeniably
was Spider-Man, okay.
phenomenal at the height of its
Jesus.
success, serving as the catalyst for a new era of entertainment. Atari quickly secured licenses for popular arcade games like Space Invaders, Missile Command, and Pac-Man, solidifying its dominance in American living rooms. By 1982, the 2600 had become a $2 billion business for Atari. However, the rapid success was part of the problem, and no game reflects this more than E.T., a licensed title rushed to market after only 5 years of development. You guys know what this game did to the industry, so let's skip over that and focus on how good the Atari 2600 was before this moment. Nintendo Wii.
We would like to play.
The Nintendo 64 and GameCube were solid, reliable consoles with strong game libraries and excellent support, but the growing competition from Microsoft and Sony made it hard for Nintendo to replicate the victories it had enjoyed with the NES and Super NES. Nintendo decided to change course and offer a fresh gaming experience that strayed from the norm. Enter the Nintendo Wii, a system that focused more
The
on
Wii
user
was
interaction
inspired.
than on delivering high-definition graphics or surround sound. The biggest shift wasn't just in games we played, but in the way we played them. The goal was to create something intuitive that anyone could pick up and enjoy, and bundling Wii Sports with the system was a marketing decision.
Okay, it wasn't
that should put
perfect, but it
gaming
was
in history with
inspired.
the greatest business moves of all time. Sega Genesis / Mega Drive.
16-bit arcade graphics.
Did they do the Dreamcast and I missed
The
it?
Genesis earned its reputation for having a standout library across nearly
I
every
mean, if they
genre
don't do
with
the
support for
Dreamcast
electronic
next,
arts,
like,
giving
that's
it an
gonna be
edge in the
weird.
sports category, the bloodier Mortal Kombat, and what some consider the greatest controller ever made, the 6-button model. I don't, but that's just because I prefer controllers that don't feel like an escape room. The success of its software lineup is easy to understand, and there are even moments when the Sega Genesis briefly overtook Nintendo in market share. This brief period made the Genesis the most popular console in the world, and for good reason. Sega Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, see, called it. Shit.
The day you have studied for. Utilize your superior skills, your superior intelligence.
Sit down, rodent!
Sarah, baby! Oh, you were one fly. Don't make me hurt.
Despite its relatively short lifespan, the Sega Dreamcast was the first console of the 6th generation, preceding the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Released in 1998, it hit stores more than 2 years before these mammoths,
God, I'm
giving it
old.
time to soak the attention of gamers.
I'm so
And
fucking
obviously,
old.
It was the release of the PS2 which contributed to its untimely demise in 2001. The Dreamcast sought a broader audience by offering quality software and introducing several technological innovations. It became the first console to feature a built-in modem for online play, allowing users to connect globally. Nintendo 64.
Well, Santa smells Christmas really stunk. I got nothing that I like, my gifts were all just junk. Boxes full of clothes, CDs no one knows.
We're well and truly into the pointy end, and it's getting harder and harder to rank these consoles because they're all as good as it gets. And just when you think you've decided which is better, a beautiful memory of the other pops into your mind. It's truly the hardest list I've ever done. The N64 boasted several major hardware innovations and housed some of the biggest and most beloved games of its generation.
There's
and
a
it's made it
like a
contender
smart
for the best
adapter you can
console of
plug
all
into
time.
like a
But
64
still,
AV
seventh place is pretty good.
VGA.
The N64
That'll
kicked off
like
with a
upscale,
bang,
like
featuring
use like
highly
AI
sensitive
upscaling to
analog
up like to
stick
crank it
and
up
pack,
to
as well as the
max.
genre-defining platformer,
It'll
Super
fix
Mario
it so like you
64,
can play it
which remains one of the
perfectly on
greatest and most influential
a
video games
modern
ever made.
LCD or
Despite
plasma.
these triumphs, the N64 never came close to matching the popularity of its rival, the PlayStation, which outsold it more than 3-1. That being said, Ocarina of Time,
Ugh.
GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie. Checkmate.
Here we go!
PlayStation.
Hey,
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived. Pack up your stuff.
Speak of the devil, not only did the PlayStation help pave the way for Microsoft's entry into the market in the next generation, but it also played a key role in transitioning the industry to disc-based media and introduced the iconic DualShock controller, whose design remains a standard to this day. The PlayStation was part of the generation that moved gaming from the 2D era into the 3D realm, a shift that continues to shape gaming today. The PlayStation's library of original titles is essentially a chronicle of gaming history, introducing landmark franchises like Metal Gear Solid, Gran Turismo, Resident Evil, and Tony Hawk, which remain some of the most prominent names in the industry. Without the PlayStation, many of the genres we now take for granted may never have emerged, and just for that, I love you, PlayStation. Also, I think you single-handedly ruined my grades in primary school. Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The true console wars began in 1991 with the release of the Super Nintendo. With its 16-bit graphics and a superior standalone sound card, Nintendo set itself apart from the competition with content like Super Mario World, Super Metroid, and Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Also F-Zero, Mario Kart, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Gladius 2, Contra 3, Mega Man 10, some secret. Look, it's a lot of games. Few consoles, if any, can boast such a rich library of AAA titles. The SNES not only dominated in hardware and software, but also set a new bar for what could be achieved in gaming. I mean, the SNES controller alone paved the way for the now standard 4-button face seen on PlayStation and Xbox controllers. Xbox 360.
Fridge for college, get a free ice tray. Or buy a PC for college, get a free Xbox 360.
As the first high-definition game console, the Xbox 360 marked a significant milestone in gaming hardware history. It brought the shift to high-definition graphics featuring advanced shading and physics effects that were
PlayStation 4.
PCs. Additionally, the Xbox 360 was the first console to introduce an integrated wireless controller system, eliminating the need for external dongles used in earlier systems. With its
4 Switch and then PlayStation 2.
The Xbox 360 significantly
because I guess they're not doing
increased the
handhelds,
longevity of the
which
console, providing endless opportunities
talk
for
about them not doing
optimization, feature expansions, and improvements. Xbox 360 may well have been the all-time most important.
Oh, the NES is number 1. Oh, never
and
mind.
I never even owned the damn thing.
Yeah, I don't agree with
Switch.
the NES being number 1.
It's so good. It is going to be lemon cake. Come on, come on.
Yes! You want to crack some eggs?
Sure.
The Switch, building on the Wii U's two-screen concept, takes it a step further by making its built-in HD display fully portable. This makes the Switch a remarkably versatile home console, effortlessly transitioning from local multiplayer in the living room to on-the-go play. It cleverly combines the innovation of the Wii with the portability of the Game Boy. We can brush over this, but let's talk about how incredible the innovation was combining Nintendo home consoles with a Game Boy. Dude, that rocks. Its standout titles include The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Super Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The Switch is truly beloved by all. No haters, only lovers.
Okay, it has some problems, like, it's not the worst, but it has issues.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, like...
Train is a-comin'. I hear it just at hand.
Sorry, I think the 2 should be number 1.
The PlayStation 2, with over 130 million units sold by the end of 2008, holds the title of the best-selling video game console of all time. This achievement speaks volumes about its impact on the gaming industry and its widespread appeal. The PlayStation 2's unparalleled dominance, impressive technical capabilities, and familiar development environment empowered studios worldwide to unleash their creativity. This era birthed iconic mainstream blockbusters like Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, Gran Turismo, Burnout, and Ratchet & Clank, whilst also showcasing unique gems like Shadow of the Colossus and Okami. Additionally, games like Guitar Hero and SingStar turned the PS2 into a go-to platform for post-pub entertainment for an entire generation. Does anyone have a fonder memory than on the PS2? Surely not. Nintendo Entertainment System.
The one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment
Rob.
System. The one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot battery.
Before 1985, in the US, Nintendo was already a strong presence in arcades, with Donkey Kong and dominating the toy aisles with its Game & Watch handhelds. However, the home console industry had all but vanished after the market crash, and the words video game had a negative connotation. Nintendo aimed to change that with the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. The company had already found massive success with the Famicom in Japan, released in 1983, and after 2 years it was time to bring that success overseas. The Famicom was reworked with a sleeker, more Western-friendly design, and the NES was born. The NES wouldn't tolerate unlicensed games. Every title had to be approved by Nintendo, and third-party developers were limited to producing a set number of games per year, with exclusivity clauses preventing games from being released on competing systems for 2 years. The NES wasn't going to be responsible for another industry crash, and this care and attention is what made it the greatest console of all time. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Mojo.
Alrighty. I'm tired. I'm sure there's 3 of you. Thank you for popping into the channel. Forgive me, I'm very exhausted. Quick updates. Like and subscribe. Join the Discord. It's all on the channel profile. All are welcome. There are rules in the Discord. Basically, just don't be a bastard. It's very easy. I'm a very, how do I put it, accepting, welcoming person. By all means, come on in. I'm done for tonight. I may or may not stream tomorrow or Sunday night. The news doesn't stop anymore. It just steamrolls in this new insane paradigm we're in. And I'll be here to cover it as best I can with a little bit of gaming here and there to palate cleanse. And yeah, like I said, all are welcome. I will be going next week on Tuesday to one of the 50-51 protests in the capitals across the country. I recommend you do too. If you're in the States and you're able to go, mask up, buy Faraday bags for your phones, put them in there so no one can track them. You set up a VPN, location changer, all that good jazz if you got it. Big recommend going out protesting the insanity of this pro-Russia traitorous regime running the country. Shart, I don't know if you're still here. Either way, thank you for participating. I welcome chats. Again, I'm really tired. I'm going to get some food. I'm going to relax. And thank you for spending time with me. I will upload this to the YouTube shortly. And you guys just have a great weekend. Bye. If you had a good time, like and subscribe.